Shani Devta, Saturn, one of the most feared planet in Vedic astrology. Everyone considers Saturn as a villain, which is not right. Because if you look at the nature of Saturn, it is the nature that is honestly required for the human race or for any kind of living beings, that is discipline. Now with Saturn, we already made one video where we discussed about Saturn and the placement of Saturn in the first house, second house, and fourth house, and whatnot. But now this video is more about after that video, when we see so many of your comments, so many of the research pointers that came out. And I want to highlight now the greatness of Saturn and how beautiful it is when it is in all the 12 houses in depth, not on surface. So we'll learn effects of Saturn in all the 12 houses, version 2. And let's start with, and see, this is also going to cover the aspects of Saturn. Okay. So with first house Saturn, generally we see that first house is our personality, our maturity and whatnot, our physical outlook, as well as how we have, how we transform from a person of no intelligence to an intelligence, a higher being, someone who has intelligence. That's how. Now with Saturn, the pure nature of Saturn in any birth chart, in any divisional chart, in any zodiac, in any person's life, is to bring discipline and is to bring ethics to your life. And that's why when it comes to, when we are in a disciplined environment, when we are in a controlled environment, then what happens? We feel that, okay, it's cruelty. Why are they doing this? Because our mind does not bend towards the rules. That's where Saturn comes into play. If Saturn is not present, then nothing in this life, nothing in this world would be in discipline. Imagine sun says, I'm not rising at 7, 10 a.m. in the morning. I will rise in the evening today. It's not possible. The whole world or universe works into a certain disciplinary manner. Same way the eclipses happen in discipline. The phases of the moon happens in discipline. So everything requires discipline. And that's what exactly your first house Saturn really means. While we discussed so many pointers, but the biggest point that came out of all the people with Saturn in the first house is that maturity. Saturn in the first house will, at a very early age, will bring such situations in your life that may not allow you to, that may not allow you to have too much of extra fun in life. It has to make sure that it gives you responsibility at a very early age, which you, well, whatever you do, if you want it, if you don't want it, it has to come to you. That's why you will always see that with Saturn in the first house, and if you have this or if you know someone who has this, you will see that how seriously they have now taken up their life. It is exactly the place where the word patience is felt by the person who has Saturn in the first house. Everything in life would delay, but that delay does not mean that it is delaying to make you suffer. The delay is there because in your past lives, in the other lifetimes, you have not acknowledged the discipline factor. You may have got much more opportunities where discipline was not at your head, but you misused that. And that's why Saturn comes here in the first house and wants you to learn in this lifetime. It is a planet of experience. That means it will come here and bring sometimes painful experiences on surface, sometimes so painful that everything you are capable, you have all the skills, but you will see that there is no opportunity right now. So that is just to make you understand or make sure for you that, listen, if this is the situation, then as soon as now you know that how it feels not to be getting an opportunity when you are capable. But now as soon as you get an opportunity, and if you misuse that time, then I'm going to really show the wrath that I have, the cruelty that people say about Saturn. You may also see that with people around you, like if they want to achieve something, they will achieve very quickly. But with Saturn in the first house, you may be the one who may be feeling that I'm not able to actually get into the groove of achieving things very easily, very quickly, very instantly. Everywhere there is a delay, everywhere there is slow progress, everywhere, like, uh, you got out of a job. So just remember your days of your university. You got off of a university, you're looking for a job, all your friends get a job, and you are the one who gets job at the last point, not even that promising job. But if you see 10 years from there, those people will not be at a place where you are. Your patience, your, even, we can say the learning that you go through because of all this delays is going to make you much more stronger person. When it comes to, when it comes to when we get something very easily, then it is very easy to destroy. But when we get something after a lot of penance, a lot of hard work, it is very difficult for it to be destroyed. And that is the nature of Saturn in the first house. It may give you things slowly, but it may never ever, your maturity level will be at such that you will never ever be able to destroy it. That's why this very tremendous pressure can eventually create maturity, authority, and more, persistence. You may not fear later that if I do, if it does not happen in 10 days, what happens? If it does not happen in 20 days, what happens? You say, okay, I will do it. I know there is a pregnancy period for it. It will take some, maybe a six months to an year. So that kind of patience, that kind of vision you get for long-term growth. You may see here with Saturn being in your first house, you may sometimes feel a very reserved personality of your own self, that you may not be opening up too much too quick. It makes you very observant. You observe every environment, try to analyze, try to think. And that's also the nature of Saturn, because it does not take actions very quickly. It also makes you very self-controlled. See, there is sometimes impulsiveness can come. It's a human nature. Mars is transiting somewhere in the third house, in the sixth house, in the 11th house. Impulsiveness comes. But these kind of people, like who you have Saturn in the first house, are generally very, very controlled, because the extreme conscience of consequences is learned by you. That okay, that what if in this haste something goes off, something goes bad. You will also see that when it comes to Saturn in the first house, your in your childhood, I have an aspect of Saturn here. I don't have a Saturn here, but I can see what it really means with people with Saturn in the first house. The the point of humility that you generate over your life, because all your all your life from your childhood you may be humiliated sometimes, that you will never be able to do anything, you're so slow, that you're a tortoise, you're this, that, whatnot. That humiliation makes you very humble in life. And these kind of people generally are the people who later on in their later life, when they are very grown, they either become advisors, they become, some owners of some good companies, and they hire people. They value labor, they value hard work. The the real responsibility of Saturn in the first house is not how the world looks at you, it is how I behave to the world. So there is something that people say, okay, I'm dressing like this because the world may feel that I am this class. No, you may not dress that way. You may behave in a way so that there is no harm to the universe or to nature or to any people because of your contribution towards anything. Now with Saturn, you will also see that the Saturn does not only work on the placement, it works on aspects, and aspects are much more powerful. Wherever Saturn aspects, it creates more challenges there. With first house Saturn and aspecting on the third house, it may bring challenges with friends, or with, sustaining friendships. Because if Saturn does not feel that this friendship that you have has some truth or some ethics, it will try to break it. So you must have seen that over your life, so much of extra transformation related to your friendships must have happened. Not only this, because Saturn is putting aspect in the third house of your courage. Same way, it may have tested your courage multiple times. And because of this Saturn's third aspect on the third house, it gives you opportunity for shortcuts. Okay, can you do a shortcut? And it's all testing, because that is going to give you the real result. And many people generally take shortcuts because at the beginning you don't know. You're a child, you're walking, you fall, you say, oh, there's a stone, I don't have to step on it. You learn. That's what Saturn does here with putting the third aspect on the third house. It may also create isolation with your siblings. There may be difference opinion in your siblings. Or you may see that at this point of time, the communication with your siblings needs much more maturity in life. It cannot happen on a very mundane or very mediocre level. It has to be very evolved. And same goes for the seventh house. That is the exact partnerships that you want to make. And it is the seventh aspect of Saturn that actually tells that choosing the partner becomes one of the most important element of your life, because that is the seventh aspect of Saturn. In seventh house, Saturn gets into Digabala. In first house, Saturn gets into Marana Karakasthana. That means those people, wherever the houses of Saturn will be, like for example, if you're Taurus rising, so Saturn has different houses. If you're Aries rising, Saturn has different houses. You will see wherever the houses of Saturn will be during Saturn Mahadashanta Dasha, that elements of your life will become very, very painful, and the pain will come through a partner. And same way, Saturn is aspecting with the 10th aspect on your 10th house. Now, you have to understand the greatest lesson or responsibility that Saturn gives with the 10th aspect on the 10th house is understanding that Saturn does not deny any identity for you. It does not deny any identity. It slowly constructs a stronger one, age on age and age on age. So you age, your identity goes more powerful. Some people who have great fortune, even at 20 years of age, they have a very great authority level. They are in powerful places. They are making big decisions. But with this, you need to have a little bit of extra hair, white hair, no hair. Then you get into that opportunity that, okay, now I'm going to be in a decision making ability. And it is nothing rocket science, it is simple. Saturn's aspect are painful. Painful aspect mean that we want to be more aggressively, what do you say, attentive, observing these places so that we do not make any mistakes. It's not like what is written is going to happen only. No, that's not. Situations are predetermined. Situation is predetermined. Action in the situation is in your hands. Here, Saturn's overall qualities include wisdom through experience. That's what I've seen many people who I spoke to. They said that, earlier it was very, everything we were doing wrong. Slowly, when we got a little bit of absolutely the first period of maturity comes when you're 36 years of age. That is where wisdom actually starts. You will see here with this self-respect also becomes a very important factor. And with Saturn in the first house, if self-respect is not given too much of importance and ethics is not given too much importance, then this Saturn will be the most cruelest Saturn that you will have. And for that, authenticity, making sure that you are becoming responsible, for that, you go out without fear of pleasing people, making sure you take the attitude of Saturn in your life for your personality, that will make you the most strongest person. As simple. Okay, All the very best. I hope that you got a little bit of clarity about your Saturn in a little bit of advanced way. Do comment below. Let me know what do you think about your Saturn. If you want to discuss your birth chart with me, there's a WhatsApp link in the description. If you want to join the WhatsApp group we have for research, it's also in the link below. And the classes I do every Sunday on YouTube, you can join that also. Everything is there. Make the most of it. All the very best. Have a great, beautiful time. Thank you. Now, second house. While second house generally is considered the house of wealth, the house of money, the house of values, the house of family possessions, the house of family given values to you. Now, here you will see and experience that financial responsibility becomes a very important factor of your life. There may be possibility because of Saturn. Wherever Saturn will sit, it will bring a responsibility for you. So, if it is sitting in the second house, see, earlier we discussed about Saturn in the second house, be very good for discipline and speech, and this is very advanced. We are going more into the elemental nature of Saturn, like the reality what Saturn does. So if you want, you can watch the other video also on the channel. But when you come to this video, you have to understand this. We are talking more, getting into more of depth. Here, Saturn clearly says that unless and until you are going to be responsible for the second house elements, it's not going to give you the complete effects. It's going to give you delays there. And number one, with Saturn being into any house and bringing a responsibility related to that house is as simple as to understand that it will give you financial responsibility at a very early age. That's why when it comes to second house Saturn, all the people I spoke to, financially, they are very responsible. At very early age, they understand that, okay, save, what are savings, how to do savings, what are the ways of savings. And if by any chance Saturn is getting afflicted here by any kind of other nodes or any kind of, malefic planets or some challenges, then it means that it will also make sure that you destroy family's wealth. I have a very important chart of a person who is from India but now settled in US in New York. He has Saturn in the second house. He said, I destroyed my father's PF, Provident Fund. This, I want to start it. This business, that business, that business, what business. I destroyed everything. But now I'm in a position that what my father did not earn even in his whole lifetime, I earn in an year. And that's why I made my parents' life very, very comfortable. Responsibility came. So you destroyed something. But once you realize that, my God, no, I have to be responsible also for my family, because this is how the family, second house. So here, shortcut is not the way with Saturn in the second house. If you have Saturn in the second house, it is abundance. Remember, Saturn and Jupiter are heavy and big planets. Where they sit, they bring heaviness. So it brings heaviness to this house. And there is a saying, when Saturn wherever sits, it creates good results only for the house. Saturn wherever aspects can create some challenges there. So if you see the link between the second house and the fourth house, where the third aspect of Saturn goes, it is in creating a property. That means it can delay every possible way for you to create your own property. Or even if you get inheritance from your family, it can create multiple kind of problems in that inheritance for it to finally materialize into your life. Second house is also an house that talks about the food habits, by the way. And with Saturn here, if you don't follow disciplined eating, you are going to be always sick. And the reason of sickness will be food. Saturn had a very big story of the food. He was so hungry, he went to the mother to ask for food. She denied. She was busy. He kicked. After that, he was given, shrap. That you will now, because you kicked the mother, no, you will limp. So here, food becomes an important factor of Saturn. With second house, we should also see that I talk all kind of random stuff to people when I'm asking questions to them, because I want to learn more and more and more. It does not mean I'm learned. It is all like we are learning on the go. Every day there is new learning. Saturn in the second house, if you see, there is the case study that I did with one person. He has Saturn in the second house, and he is getting fatter and fatter and fatter, even more fat than me. I asked him that, are you eating food very quickly? He said, very fast. I eat very fast. I said, exactly where Saturn is not able to understand what you are doing. The moment you will eat lot of start eating fast food, either your weight will become too heavy, or either you will never ever gain anything. So either it will make you very obese, or either it will make you malnutrition. So here the another reason comes that Saturn is a planet which is patience oriented planet. So eating habits should become very, very patient here. You should actually take 45 minutes to complete a meal and meditate over the meal. Like eat with everything by taking God's name. With Saturn here, you will also see that when it comes to patience, patience is the only key for you to make financial success in your life. If you're, I told you there is no shortcut here. You may want to accumulate slowly, and that will only become big for you. If you're thinking that, like I have one very good girl who's my client, and she's into fashion designing and whatnot. From last 10 years, she's not working. You know why? Oh, you know what? I'm going to get money from this place, five places, and I'm all sorted for my life. I don't need to work. And she has Saturn in the second house. She's not working at all, thinking that there is some money that is going to supposed to come, which she has no idea when it is going to come. And I always tell her that I understand the money is going to come. You have property, very good. It is not selling from last 7, 8 years. What if it does not sell for next 20 years? What are you going to do? Somehow, in this situation, if Saturn says, if you don't help yourself, I am not going to come to help you at all. That's why working very hard here, especially going crazy in terms of making your inner peace and happiness disturbed, is the only way for success here. You cannot have success by sitting idle and thinking, oh, something will happen. You have to, wherever Saturn is putting an aspect, take that house as a challenge. Take the fourth house as a challenge. Fourth house is the house of peace and relaxation. Destroy your relaxation, your own self. That no. Whenever you want to relax, bring back the idea that no, I don't want to relax. I want to work hard. I want to do something. I want to learn something. I want to experience something. See Saturn giving you great results. Saturn is looking at the eighth house here. Destroy your eighth house. Destroy vulnerability. Go into places which give you fear, where you feel fear. You fear of water. Go into water. Slowly, start going. Start going. So you will overcome fear. Those whenever look, I have realized and I have already advised everyone, and I have always seen that it works. Wherever Saturn aspects, Saturn is going to destroy that place. But if you consciously start destroying it yourself, Saturn says, relax, man. Okay, I will not do anything. You guys chill. Placebo effect. All these people, Saturn and Rahu and Ketu and Mars, they're not looking at us like this and saying that, okay, do this, do that. There is nothing like that. It is just the energy which moon consumes and moon sends to our brain. Our mind makes decision accordingly to the Mahadasha we are going in, and things manifest. So my feeling and my suggestion is for second house that, here, obviously second house is the house of wealth accumulation. It is the primary house of wealth accumulation. Remember this. The first house, the native needs dharma. The second house, native needs artha. Artha means money, accumulation of wealth and whatnot. Here, Saturn will make sure that if you do careful planning of your finances and not get into shortcuts, your money will go up. Slowly, saving will give you more rather than expecting everything at one time. Speech becomes very measured, very serious, authoritative. Authority not in terms of, what you say, not in terms of, how do I put it? Like not like Surya authority that do this. Authority in sense that If you do this, you are going to really get this, and I am 100% sure about it, because of the experience that you guys have faced. Your speaking, your values make a very big difference in other people's life. With the Saturn, you will also see that family responsibilities may mature the person early, and then you may also become one expected to preserve or build that family resource. If you're thinking about quick money, this is the wrong placement of Saturn. It is, if it is you're thinking about generational wealth, then this is the right placement of Saturn. Saturn evolves at the year of 36 in a very nice way. And you must have seen, those who are past 36 must have seen that from 36 years of age, suddenly their passion, their power, their patience, their decisions have become much more mature. Or if you're reaching 36 with patience, things are going to be very, very fine for you. Now, from here, Saturn has one more aspect, and that is on the 11th house. Now, if the planet of the second house, like Saturn sitting in the second house, puts an aspect on the 11th house, then you have to understand that the 10th aspect of Saturn becomes the karma aspect. That means you don't have only duties for your own self, for your own family. It is also for a very big social cause or a social environment or philanthropy or humanitarian work. If you don't shift a little bit of focus towards humanitarian activities, then this Saturn's maturity or this Saturn's manifestation of giving you the best generational wealth or generational happiness is not going to happen. You should be so lucky to say that Saturn here is aspecting your 8th house of Ayusha. That means longevity. Saturn is the planet that does not want you to die. It wants you to be here and keep suffering, keep burning your karmas, keep suffering. So those people who consider Saturn as a Mritya Karaka is wrong. Saturn never wants you to die. There's only one person who really wants us to die, and that is Ketu. Because Ketu is sitting for the moment of truth, that either we get moksha or either we get a rebirth. So there is only one person who really wants us to die, and that is where it does two things. It does two things. When we are born, it cuts the umbilical cord. Remember this very clearly. When we are born, it cuts. Cutting is Ketu's role. It cuts the umbilical cord. That means from that universe to this universe, it brings us. And when we die, in the Hindu occult lore, it is like there is a noose which cuts our, the relationship between us and the body. Us means the real soul in the body. That's also Ketu's job. There's only one person who wants us dead, that is Ketu. Saturn wants us to live. Ayusha Karaka. Saturn is air planet. Vayu. V-A-Y-U. Vayu means air. Cut the V portion from it. It's Ayu. Vayu, without air. You have all your organs running, but if you cannot breathe, you're dead. Saturn rules the breath given to you. That's why people say do pranayama, do breathing exercises. Why? Because you calm down. You don't get aggressive. You get a long life so that you can burn more karmas. This is the Saturn in the second house, aspecting your 8th house. It has to give you a complete full life. I hope that you're understanding. This is all advanced. This is not basic. Basic people cannot understand this. If you're not understanding, then look at the basic level first, basic video I've made, and then come to this. Then you will understand the more higher factor that I'm talking about. So add yourself chaos related to your family. This is the place where unless and until you leave your home place, you leave your birthplace, you're not going to get success, because Saturn is putting third aspect. Third aspect means the more effort you put at your workplace, the more slow your life will be. Go out of your workplace, get uncomfortable there. Get uncomfortable in the 8th house. Go into places that give you fear. And do extreme social service. Whatever you have, like 10, that's one, the 10% of it social service. And see the power that Saturn brings back to you. Okay? All the very best. Have a great, beautiful, wonderful, awesome time. Do comment below. Let me know about your Saturn. What do you feel about this Saturn? And then we will take it from there. And there is a WhatsApp link if you want to talk to me about your birth chart in detail, not like on over the surface. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Third house. Now, while third house in the Vedic astrology system is called the Parakrama Bhava or the Bhratu Bhava, it is the house of siblings, but it is also Parakrama Bhava, the house of courage. Now, when Saturn comes to the third house, I have given the name to this house as ethical courage. I have courage. I will take the right step, but in ethics. And if you go around it, Saturn will also go around it and punish you. These are the kind of people who generally feel very isolated in life. Even with a whole room full of people who are only attentive towards you, in all of those, also, you will feel very, very isolated. You will feel that I have nothing. I have no one. I have no meaning. My efforts are useless. Because in this situation, the general nature of human is not repetition. Remember this very carefully. You know, those people who really want to achieve something repeatedly fail, then they achieve something. We only see the final product. Albert Einstein repeatedly failed in thousands of experiments, but one experiment got very good, he got popular. So we only see the one thing. With Saturn in the third house, unless and until you get into a repeat pattern of trying things again and again and again and again and again, you will not be happy. That courage comes through repetition, not through impulsiveness or do once and then leave it. No, that's not working. Let me try something else. Because anything that is supposed to be given by Saturn has to come after repeated and after patient notice, repeated effort and patient mindset. You will see that you will always, like all these people who have third house Saturn, will always have a starter problem, not in your car but in your own life. You want to start something, you will not be very willing to motivate it, feel shy, feel running away from it. But once you are committed and once you become, I have a very great chart of a person who turned his life upside down, very hesitant to get into family business because he said, I am not going to sell cotton business they are in, very simple cotton business. He said, I am not going to sell cotton. I studied in US and this, that, whatnot. And 12, 15 years ago, his father got sick, and without any without any option, he had to join the family business. Now he's making mattresses like crazy. The fold mattresses, I cannot even take the name, but old mattresses that became worldwide famous. He's the one who was behind the idea. That mattress in a box. Rest you can find out who he is. Now, because as soon as you sometimes here you don't come by choice, you don't come into a profession by choice. You come into a profession or into any workplace just by circumstances. And once you are committed to it, then you develop extraordinary skill, your endurance, communication ability, what you say, ideas. Remember, your communication is old school. You're not communicating from this era. Saturn is a very old planet. Things related to old things related to very, very vintage things. So your brain is vintage. And that's why vintage was more pure. Right now, everything is adulterated. Everything is Rahu now. When it comes to Saturn in the third house, you will value hard work as well. That's why it's a great placement for entrepreneurs to show their skills. And that's where you have to make yourself uncomfortable. See, wherever Saturn's aspects are going, life is already going to be uncomfortable. So it is better for you only to make it as uncomfortable as you can make it, because that is going to give you the power to for growth. Now, for here, Saturn is aspecting your fifth house. Where will you make yourself uncomfortable? In creativity. You will be criticizing your own creativity, and if you keep doing that, you will find excellent results in the later part. If you think, oh, I am doing everything right, and if other people are guiding you that no, because of aspect of the ninth house, if you here try to be over smart and don't listen to your mentors and gurus or teachers, or people who are elder to you, Saturn will ruin your happiness. Saturn will, you have to destroy your ego of feeling superior here. You have to always be a people's person, always be a person who listens to guidance from elders. With Saturn here, you will also see that you will understand that courage or anything is not absence of fear, but the ability to continue despite if something gives you fear or something gives you anxiety. It's just like keep continuing, don't worry, continue. Uncertainty can be there, but it will become certain, it will become certain. I have seen with people with Saturn in the third house, as they mature, as they're 36 and above, and they're going up and up and up, you will see that calculated courage comes. They will have a lot of courage, but very calculative, very communicative. In fact, this kind of a Saturn will ask 10 other people about their opinions, and then try to see that, okay, if out of 10, 7 have given opinion in my favor, very good. If even there is 50-50, you will start criticizing your own idea and say that there's something wrong here. With Saturn, I told you, where whichever house it will sit, it will give you some responsibility related to that house. And here, sometimes it gives you what is the closest relation to this house is siblings. So it is possible that it may give you some responsibility related to your sibling in a way where you're not able to get out of it throughout your life. Or there will be some doing by your sibling which will transform your life in such a way that, you know, rags to riches or riches to rags. So this is something very clear. Wherever Saturn sits, it brings responsibility for that house. You will also see here with this kind of a placement that when it comes to any kind of hard labor, Saturn is considered to be a person of a hard labor. That's why it is called servant in the solar system. It's called a servant. Those who have taken my class and those who are taking the class on YouTube, you will see the Saturn, why and how he's placed in the Navgraha system. And third house, even if you become like example, like one of the most richest person of the world, you will still have a broom in your hand, say, it's my office, let me clean. You will not get into that comfort, or we can say luxurious zone that, okay, you know what, I am the one, how can you not say good morning to me? You will be very humble, very down to earth person, because everything that you have got is what you have made. Everything that you have got is what you have, manifested yourself in your life, not like coming in some inheritance. I see with Saturn in the third house, your hands are not hands. Your hands are hands of a craftsman, someone who slowly carves something. But when it displays in the, like you slowly start a company and building. But when it's displayed outside, the craftsmanship is said that this is ancient, man. Someone who has such ancient knowledge must only can create this. That's the nature of Saturn in the third house on an advanced level. So I'm not talking about basic level. Huh? Saturn in the third house, your courage will be good, your short distance travel will delay. All that is all stupidity. It is there for beginners. We have to learn the basics of the house. But this is something going more and more deeper. Now, third house is also the house of death, sorry, longevity. Saturn coming here promises great longevity. Now, anyone can ask right now that, oh, eighth house is the house of longevity. What are you saying? So, eighth house is the house of longevity from your lagna. And from bhavata bhavam, house from the house, the real house of longevity is the third house. The planet in the third house can determine your longevity as well, and much better than the eighth house lord. And if Saturn is present here, then automatically we know that longevity is going to be great. So the longevity of your courage becomes superb. The longevity of your relationship with your siblings, either good and bad, becomes long. The longevity of your effort that you have put and the results that you're getting back from your efforts are also very long. So it is a very, very amazing placement of Saturn. Also, Saturn is a planet in your life, in your chart. It evolves with time. Same way, third house is called an Upachaya house, which evolves with time. As time goes by, we start that evolution, great process of evolution in our life. It may bring responsibility at a very early age and give you a very nice window of 8, 10, 12 years to mature and to understand the truth, the reality. And one great thing about Saturn in the third house is that people who have Saturn in the third house have skills in their hands. So they are not worried about the outside world. In fact, losses or bearing losses and coming back from losses is the most important elemental karma of Saturn in the third house, because it is putting the 10th aspect of karma on the 12th house, which also means that there can be possibility that at an early age you may be able to go to a very different foreign place and start exploring or start working in isolated behind the scenes environment to create something very valuable for your family, for your siblings, for the responsibility that came to you at a very early age. With Saturn aspects on the 10th house, on the 12th house, the 10th aspect, it also means that make yourself uncomfortable during, don't sleep too much. These are the people who should sleep only with 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours. Don't sleep too much. Like, fight with all the aspects of Saturn and see you will win. Don't surrender to these aspects, huh? These aspects are saying, Saturn is saying, I am giving drishti, I am giving you trouble here. I want to see how well you handle the trouble. So get ready to handle the trouble. No astrologer will tell you. They will always say that Saturn putting an aspect on the fifth house, oh ho, it will create problem in childbirth. It will create some problem in education. Yes, it's the true. But how do we fight it? Fight it beforehand, only know that it is going to create a problem for you. Get ready for it. So what is it going to do? Create problem in childbirth? What are the elements of childbirth that we require to make better in our life? Should we eat good food? For women, should we eat good food? We should take care of our ovulation. We should take care of our lifestyle. So Saturn kya kar lega? What will Saturn be able to do? Because you have now rectified everything to discipline. So Saturn says, okay, thank you, I cut my cord here. Saturn says education, my God, because it is aspecting your fifth and your ninth house, your education will delay. Okay, understood, delay. How do I avoid it? I will be delayed only, but I will finish it. I will make sure unless and until I finish it, I will not take rest. Saturn will say this discipline is much more powerful than my aspects. What can I do now? So wherever Saturn is aspecting, challenge that house. Rather than just accepting, you have the power to create things, man. The power to create aeroplanes and everything. Human has power so many things. You can't just create a nice discipline, we can say rebellious nature against Saturn's aspects. That's the only way. कोई भी remedy कर लो. You stand, dance in front of God for 20 hours. No one is listening. But you change your lifestyle, you change your pattern of thinking, everything is, universe is listening then. All the very best. Have a great, beautiful, wonderful, awesome time. I hope that you resonated with what I'm saying, or am I talking rubbish, please write below. I'm just talking what people are, or what I'm experiencing with the Saturn in the third house with everyone I talk to. Do subscribe, and there is a WhatsApp link in the description for personal appointments if you want to discuss your chart in detail only. Otherwise, don't come. All the best. Thank you. Have a great time. See you in the next video. Now, Saturn in the fourth house. Now, fourth house is house which is very dear to me because I have Saturn in the fourth house. So it's first-hand experience that you will hear. See, fourth house is your, so first house is your birth, and fourth from the first is the house of your nurturing, what happens at your birth. Personal experience, the birth was extremely humiliating. Like, every minute I was humiliated because what I am telling you my story, then I will tell you the generic stuff. That I did not have parents, both of them. I was 9 months old when things happened, whatever. After that, my grandparents, my grandfather took care of me, my uncles, everyone. They always made me realize that I am an outsider, that we have kept you, we are giving this to you, we are feeding you, you know how much this costs, you are living here, you go out, get out, all this kind of humiliated stuff. But if you see the power, I am doing very well today in my life. How? This Saturn makes you so tough that you are able to, accept any humiliation in this world. From childhood, the training begins, and then you become person of stone. You understand that now I am not the person who can humiliate anyone, who can give, who can take this bad karma. And you realize also these people who have done everything to you are no one but your own family or your own blood people. Somehow this brings to the point where Saturn is a very great teacher, by the way. We are not understanding Saturn, we are only thinking Saturn is a punisher, but Saturn is a very great teacher. Saturn shows you who is exactly going to be yours, who comes from your childhood and tries to nurture you to become someone in life, or who is against you, who just wants to keep humiliating you, so that you, when you are in your youth, you can make the right decision immediately. You don't have to wait for a very long period of time. With Saturn in the fourth house, I started working at when I was 14 years of age. Honestly, in media industry, 14 years of age. 14, I was 14 and a half, almost turning 15, but yes, 14 years of age. So that's how Saturn does it. Very early responsibility. It will give you the responsibility of the whole family. And if there is no family, like for example me, it gave responsibility of myself only. And now you only earn, you only eat, you only manage. There is no one else who's going to give anything to you. So here, your mother is not your mother. Saturn is your mother. It will teach you through the hard way, through difficult way, through delays, through denials, through humiliation, everything possible here with Saturn. When Saturn comes to the fourth house, you will also see that when it comes to your place of residence, you will never ever feel comfort in your birthplace. Never. You may always want to either run away from that place, either that place binds you, we can say what you say, makes you feel very, uh, makes you feel very tied up to it, makes you feel that you cannot grow here, makes you feel frustrated. That's why many people who have Saturn in the fourth house generally move abroad and live in a very foreign place. If fourth house gets if Saturn is exalted, if Saturn is different, dignities are also there. If Saturn is in very great placement, then there is no issue. Saturn will make you comfortable. But when it comes to Saturn, not in great dignity in the house of enemies, aspected by, it will want to make you run away from your birthplace. It does not mean that you become a person who may become non-patriotic. You may be a patriotic person, but you may just don't want to live there at the birthplace. Now, One important thing about Saturn in the fourth house, which I have seen in different people, not me, but different people, is that here, generally, many of the charts and many of the people that have experience with Saturn in the fourth house generally inherit something very old, something very ancient, maybe a land which is very ancient and old, maybe a property which is coming very ancient and old, or maybe something that is coming from grandparents. In my case, yes, that was there. Something not from your parents directly, but from your grandparents, because Saturn is old. You will also see here that the inner foundation that you create in your life is based on fear. You're not working or anything based on passion. You're working on fear that, okay, what if this goes away from my life? Because very, very slowly, when you mature, you start achieving things in life with Saturn in the fourth house. Before that, no, man. There are only few people with Saturn in the fourth house with good aspect of Jupiter or something like that, that they are safe. Otherwise, Saturn in the fourth house can create very bad childhood memories. And not only me, I have spoken to like so many people. Like out of 100 and an average, 75 people are have troubled childhood. 25% is there, very good. Obviously, every chart combination, aspects, placements, conjunctions, nakshatra, dignity, degrees, so many things matter, ashtak varga. But here is what I feel with Saturn in the fourth house. It will also make you a very serious person in your domestic life. People who are very isolated in their own family. Once you make your family, suddenly you disconnect with the outer world also. This is absolutely possible with Saturn in the fourth house. Now, while we are discussing about Saturn in the fourth house related to the placement, the aspects of Saturn are much more powerful and they need to be worked upon. And I have found that the code for working, I didn't know, other astrologers may have found it, but they have found ways to do remedies. I found the code. The code is, wherever Saturn is aspecting, make your life miserable for that area of life. Like sixth house, it is aspecting. If you want to be healthy, make your life miserable. Supposed to be discipline oriented. Get up in the morning, go to workout, go do pranayama, go do exercises. Like you will not like it. Your body may want to give up. You don't want to do it. You don't want to to really it to happen in your life. But if you do it, then you are letting Saturn not do anything at all. When you read the see, I will explain you why I am saying this so that you get clear idea. There is a very important book called Lal Kitab. 50% of what it is written is rubbish. Okay, because it is translated in a way which sounds rubbish. Pandit Joshi ji, who wrote it, he has wrote it in a different mindset. Someone who translated did not understand it in the right way. 50% is rubbish because all the stupid things they say. Anyways, I don't want to criticize people of Lal Kitab will start saying you are what do you know about Lal Kitab? I know everything, man. I have the original version. You might have not even seen. But Lal Kitab has a very I told you 50% is rubbish, 50% is very good. There is very important element of Lal Kitab. It says that sometimes then when you get a dasha which says that there is going to be jail for you. There is going to be hospital for you. So what it gives the remedy, is that go to the hospital, take the water of the hospital from the compound, come and drink it. So what have you done? You have already experienced the environmental element, the five elements: air, water, fire. Right? Fire we cannot bring, water we can bring, air we cannot bring. So we have brought one element from that place and we have experienced it. So there are possibilities. It's not 100% proof. But there are possibilities that you may actually, what do you call, actually be able to pass that without any consequences on your side. What have you done? You have actually brought an elemental, thing to your life, which is associated to a miserable outcome. So miserable outcome was you were going to jail. You told the jail person that, listen, I want some food and some water from here, and you take food and water, and generally this is the remedy people do. So obviously in foreign countries it's not possible, but in India people do this really. Tihar jail and this that jail, people they sell roti because they know they are doing upay. Find out from someone who has done this remedy, or write down if you have done this remedy, hospital water, jail water. Anyways, in that area, whatever you have lived, that element in your current state only. So that's all okay. Same way, when it comes to Saturn's remedies, wherever Saturn is aspecting your sixth house, your 10th house, your first house, make your life so miserable and put yourself into that condition every day. Automatically, Saturn is not going to give you bad results, because elementally, Saturn is seeing your suffering. But now, there are two ways of suffering. Suffering means me wanting something, suffering that I have to do something. Here, make sure that sixth house is the house of discipline, house of daily routine. Make your routine so damn organized. Saturn is no point to disturb anything. Why will it disturb its own elemental nature? It is looking at the 10th house, your career. You have to not run away from karma. You have to find something to do, like find a karma to do, so that you bring more trouble to your life. That no, I cannot stay idle. I want to be working. I don't know, those people who know me really, and those who may talk to me and whatnot, I start at 5:30 a.m. in the morning. Sometimes now I'm in India, I start at 7. I work till 11:30, 12 in the night. And again, I go back to the same. Work. Work means work. So I've made my life, I've ruined my life in work so much that अब इससे ज़्यादा क्या होगा? Like, what can Saturn do now? And Saturn is aspecting your ascendant. That means your personality wise also. You have to become so serious in life. You have to become so responsible in life. You have to invite responsibilities. I invite responsibilities that, okay, this person is not doing well, let me take a responsibility of this. This person needs to learn, let me mentor this person. This person needs to do this, let me do this for him. Bring all these things to your life. Like, bring unnecessary stress to your life and see the power that Saturn gives you. And the reward will be in terms of wealth, in terms of health, in terms of all your wishes coming true. My Guruji K.N. Rao said, Akash, at one point of time, Akash, you need to sweat in an air-conditioned room. That's exactly how much you need to work. You need to sweat heavily in an air-conditioned room. That's your Saturn. Now, when these kind of great legends say something, then there is a very bigger meaning to it. So I am working in AC right now. I'm sweating also. Sachi mein. Because energy, I work. I put a lot of energy and passion into it. Because this is not very soon appointments I will end. Only this I will do because I like this. I like to give you explanations and teaching. So this is Saturn in the fourth house of your birth chart. I know it may be you may say what is all about, what am I saying, what not and what not, but it is what I feel is right, and I have seen other people's chart. All the very best. Anything I'm missing in Saturn in the fourth house in advanced level? Saturn gives you maturity at early age. Done. Saturn putting an aspect on the. In see, all these delays and everything is a part of Saturn. We all know Saturn is going to delay. Saturn is going to delay in your workplace. But there is no denial. It has to give you the right height if you work on its principles. So start working on Saturn's principle. Make your emotions very mature. Make your environment very peaceful. If you are moving out, move to cold places. The colder, the more better it is for you. The place where the air is pure, Saturn is purely placed there. The place where air is very dirty, Saturn is very, very bad there. Okay. All the very best. Have a great time. Do comment below. Let me know what do you think about your Saturn in the fourth house, and anything resonates, doesn't resonate. Are you going to take up this challenge? Are you motivated? Are you listening to astrology only because you want some stupid remedies, or you want reality, real changes in life? That's what I want to know. All the best. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video, and subscribe. Huh? All the best. Nature of Saturn in fifth house. While if we check the basic details of fifth house, they are related to creativity and children and progeny and education and so on and on and on. But the greatest and the underlying area of fifth house is speculation. Saturn is now having a close watch on all the speculative movements of your life. With Saturn in the fifth house, it's a it's actually a boon only for you, because it will try to keep you safe. Only reason is that I've spoken to a few people who have Saturn in the fifth house, and they've lost some great money during Sade Sati, and the reason was all crypto. The reason was all kind of unregulated platforms, and the money went. Now here you may see that. Let's start from the area of creativity and talent, because fifth house is the house that actually talks about the real talent that your soul has brought from previous lives. That's why fifth house is also called the house of Purva Punya. Wherever Saturn comes, it has to give you a very major and very extreme responsibility. And that's what it has done in the fifth house for you. If it has come in the fifth house, that means in the Purva Punya, in the past lives, there is some discipline or there is some responsibility related to the fifth house that you did not manage properly. And in this lifetime, you are supposed to learn and manage that in a very Saturn regulated manner. While no planet is bad in fifth house, in ninth house, in first house. So Saturn is or anyways never ever bad. Saturn has nothing bad about itself at all. Only thing is the principles of Saturn are tough, and we don't like tough, right? We don't like tough. We want to be very free, and we want to do whatever our heart says. But see those people who are actually in discipline. See, look at the sun, look at the moon, look at the sky, look at weather. So disciplined. Now that's why when it comes to the fifth house, the person who has Saturn here, and I've seen and spoke to people where they have not really been recognized very early related to the talents that they have. They've got very early responsibilities in their childhood. They must have got responsibilities to take care of certain things in life. But the talent that they have is not discovered very quickly by other people. This is the place where you see that not only your talents or creativity are given importance, your romance and love life also starts from this place as only. And with Saturn is a very old school kind of a planet. Many people with Saturn in the fifth house, many people, not everyone, we can say 40% of people may get into very orthodox kind of marriage, like same religion, same culture, orthodox behavior. And because Saturn's aspects are very, very difficult, Saturn putting the third aspect here on the what do you say, on the seventh house, makes that relationships or relationship very, very, very critical actually. Marriage will bring you a lot of happiness as well. Remember this. Marriage may be critical, there may not be extreme love. Saturn is a cold planet. Saturn is not a planet of love. Saturn is a cold, so it shows coldness in relationships. My spouse, my wife has Saturn in the fifth house. Very cold in marriage, but very bold in asking money. Huh? Whenever she wants to spend something, like, gosh, can I have this? When I say let's hold hands and go to watch a movie, I don't think so. In 10 years, went for a movie or stuff like that. So I'm just saying that very cold. Here you will also see uh, children in your life becomes a very and extremely big responsibility for you. For every action of children, you are always, first of all, dedicated, secondly, responsible, and even criticize yourself when children are not working according to your mindset or your mind pattern. You will see here that fifth house is the house that also tells us about how our workplace or how our profession will transform in life. And with Saturn, there is a very big difficulty of career getting transformed. Generally, it will take very late, very late in your life to get any recognition because of your problem solving skills, because of your creativity, because of your approach. Education here sometimes might delay. There is possibility, and I've seen many charts and confirmed so many with Saturn in the fifth house. You may do some education, but you may not continue in that domain of work or education. You may completely do a different job only altogether. So that education is not going to be 100% backing your current role. But this kind of a Saturn gives birth to very great teachers, very great educators, someone who has patience, someone who can teach with patience, someone who has patience around children. Also, it gives you some ability to, to have a very clear mindset or intellect of justice. Like you are the one who may be able to give the right justice. That's why counselors who really work with the judicial system, that kind of counselors, it's a very great placement of Saturn. Saturn here says that sustained effort can turn ordinary ability into mastery. That's why when you have fifth house Saturn, 110% you have got some talent from your past life and consistently working on that talent again and again and again. And you might feel that it's an ordinary ability of mine, that I can do this. I can write well. I can speak well. I can I can, I can do some creative journalism writing, creative storytelling. You may think it's very normal, but that is a mastered, that's an ability that you can master in and also help other people grow. Fifth house is also the house of any kind, that's why it is speculative, right? It is the house of any kind of mathematics. Whenever we look at any person who is supposed to be what do you call when you want to see their ability to make calculations, their ability to make future calculations, then the fifth house plays a very, very important role there. And with Saturn here, Saturn is slow, but it will make sure that the kind of calculation, the kind of projects, kind of creation that you do is not for a very short time. It is for a very, very long period to come. So the the creation that you do does not remain only for a while. It remains for a very, very extremely long time. Very mature decisions need to be taken in terms of relationships, romance. You are going to be a person who may just fix, or you may just be attached to one thing throughout your life, unless this Saturn has been aspected by some malefic or conjunction with some malefic or some Shrapit yoga, some Grahana, some dosha, some Vishya dosha. So many layers are there. But in general placement with Saturn in the fifth house, you will be committed to on the romantic side for a very long time to a single person. You will also see that not only delay in education, but delay in recognition also happens. See, this from this Saturn's not only placement is important, I always say that aspects are very important. See, the third aspect of Saturn, that is the more hard work that is required for you to do, is on your marriage, on your relationship or business partnership or relationship or status or public, how the outside world looks at you. That is where the most effort needs to be put. I told other signs also or other placements also that I've cracked one important thing about Saturn. The aspects of Saturn are difficult, right? So we know that these are difficult areas. The seventh house partnership difficult. The 11th house social circle. You may become an introvert person, but that's how life starts. With Saturn in the fifth house, you are introvert in the beginning, but slowly, you evolve and start becoming a normal, neutral, semi extrovert person. Saturn is aspecting on the what do you say, second house. That means family. 10th aspect. From family, you're not going to get anything. You have to always make everything on your own. And not only for your own self, you have a major fifth house responsibility, and the major house responsibility here is children. So you have to not make for you have to make for your children. And the sacrifice, the biggest sacrifice that you do in a lifetime is for your children. Those who don't have right now may pass this, but you will keep it in your mind that something related to children will make you sacrifice either your career, either your family, either your location of happiness. Something Saturn will create that sacrifice, area for you for sure. Saturn in this situation is also looking at the 11th house, which is social media, social circle, whatnot. Friends. It will give you sudden coldness in friends. You may have friends. You may want to. You may be a pure person also who may open up with your friends that okay, this is what it is. But your friends may, on the other hand, be very, very, what do you say, secretive, and that may make you feel that am I stupid to share everything I'm doing in life, and these people don't say anything? That means they don't value me, they don't trust me. With money actually becomes, because it is putting an aspect on the house of gains and house of second house. Money also, you may be the one who may be generous enough to give even your last savings to someone, but you will always feel that inside, was I used here? Did this person take advantage of me? That feeling is not going on from your head. It has to be there. It's supposed to be like this. That's why with people in Saturn in the fifth house generally end up to be very like, so they grow up with introvertness, they grow out of it, they get into a little bit of semi-extrovert behavior. Then again, they see the whole truth of the world and they start going into isolation. So this whole cycle of Saturn keeping you isolated, showing you the true world, and again taking you back to introvertness is there. Always the main feeling that you will get is that run away from this world, go to some isolated place, live off grid. That's the inner, what you say, that is the thing that gives you happiness. With Saturn aspecting on the seventh house, you have to make effort in the area related to your relationships for it to work. Otherwise, sooner or later, that will also not work for you, and you must have not gained at the right time, at the right point, with the right person. So this Saturn in the fifth house, I have my wife is having same Saturn, not aspected by anything. I know how difficult it is for handling such people, and what difficulty you have faced related to stomach pain, the kind of challenges that you're facing after childbirth, after thinking that okay, now it is done, now everything is supposed to be sacrificed for the children. That's the nature of this placement. But sooner or later, it will give you name and fame. Huh? Remember this. Saturn in the fifth house has to give you name and fame. All the very best. Have a great, beautiful time. I hope that your Saturn treats you better, best here. Do comment below. Let me know what do you think about your Saturn, and if there is any kind of discussion you want to do with me, you have my WhatsApp number here, 4034931188. You can book a small appointment, and then we can discuss in detail about your chart. All the best. Thank you. Bye bye. So with sixth house, we have been discussing Saturn in different houses, and we come to the sixth house, which is a proper domain of Saturn only. With sixth house, with eighth house, and with 12th house, Saturn is extremely potent in these houses. Potent means really, really potent. It can make a difference in your life. That's what it means. While everyone considers Saturn or Saturn qualities very, very negative and very, very challenging and very, very, stressful, you have to understand that stressful are your karmas. Whatever we do is what we reap. Sometimes it is Saturn trying to help us or make us realize that, you know what, this is not your right time. That's why it delays. It does not mean that it is getting angry over us or it is cursing us or creating problems. And generally, with people in Saturn in the sixth house, the domain of sixth house, the area, the work of sixth house is daily habits. So before complaining about Saturn, I ask my clients that what have you done for your daily habits? Do you get up and go to the work, go to workout, go to gymming, this, that, whatnot, or try to do something regularly in routine? Many of them answer no. I said, and then how do you expect to get good results? So somehow, before we get into the depth of the placement of the planet, and before we get to understand that what are our expectations? No, universe, the planets also have some expectations from us. We fulfill that, they fulfill our expectation. That's how in the job area also works, right? We fulfill their expectation related to what needs to be delivered, and they fulfill our monetary needs. Now, when it's sixth house, it can actually produce people who are, not to use the not to use a word in a very bad way, but people who will work like donkeys, like completely putting effortless hours. It's not effortless. Effortless is wrong word. Something who's putting just efforts and only efforts and hours and hours and hours and not expecting too much great out of it. Like, for example, a doctor who's paid a salary. But if he has an 8 hours or 9 hours work, but he's working 16, 17, 18 hours in that same salary, is the nature of Saturn in the sixth house. Because here, if you make your comfort bigger, Saturn is going to bring you down. If you make your motive bigger, that my motive is to actually completely surrender and give and keep giving, then Saturn is going to abundant, like me, give you abundance. This Saturn also tells that while it is the house of competition, it is the house of fighting, it is the house of chaos. And if this Saturn is sitting in the sixth house and you don't bring chaos to your life, or any malefic planet in the sixth house means bring chaos to your life. And chaos means sometimes you will see that your nature also will be very rigid, that if you want something, you want something, and you may go to any extent also because of this Saturn placement, that you may go to any extent to actually achieve it. You will see that it will be slow. The progress that he will come to you will be slow. The problems that you are supposed to be solving may not be like immediately just on the surface level. It's going to be something that is solved for a very long period of, like, your problem, you may take time to reach to the problem and solve the problem, but once it is solved, it is going to be forever. It's not going to be patchwork. It's going to be 100% permanent work. When it comes to challenges, see, if Saturn is in the sixth house and there are no challenges, that means you have a wrong birth chart. Because Saturn in the sixth house is supposed to give you challenge after challenge after challenge. And because of going through so much of challenges again and again in repeated manner, you develop a, what you say, you develop a problem solving ability of handling all the challenges very systematically. So handling challenges also, you do it in discipline. Okay, let me focus here now because this is a challenge I need to solve. Then I will do it at 2 p.m. this problem and 3 p.m. that problem. That's how it is supposed to be. That's why all the people who work in IT solutions and IT, what you say, support, I have seen with their Saturn in the sixth house because they have systematic tickets raised. 3 o'clock I will take this, 4 o'clock I will take this, 6 o'clock I will take this. I have to solve problem. With this, the kind of accountability that Saturn builds for you, so that you do not, how do I put it? You do not feel that you are no one, or you do not feel that you have not contributed. The accountability is so big that sometimes even at workplace, because this is workplace and daily routine at workplace, even at workplace, you being an intern also, you coming as a very young, very new candidate also, your suggestion, your work and your contribution will make a difference. One more important thing is that very good placement for surgeons, those who are doing extensive long hour surgeries. What a great and amazing placement for you. The reason is that because here you have the power of being absolutely patient, patience under pressure. I have seen this with people. Like I have one very good surgeon. He is what you call wo jo hota hai na, general surgeon, but he says I've done more than 50,000 operations of gallbladder. Like every day I do three, four, five people gallbladder. That's what his job is. He told me that when he started early in life, he was like, obviously when you are not that mature and you're a new doctor, he said there was no patience, man. There was always like, like there's a war situation, always I need to be working. There's no patience. Like sometimes in that situation, we used to do something wrong and whatnot. But later, as soon as life continued, and when I reached my 40s and my 45s and whatnot, automatically the hand became very stable. He said everything was patience. I said nothing happens. Everything is what. And he also said one very great important thing is that we doctors sometimes feel that there is really some power in this world who suddenly comes and helps you, because I have seen patients who were 100% sure, and we were sure that this is done. There is no way that they will live it. It will, operation went bad or whatnot. But there is some power that I don't know. Prayer has power. I don't know what has power, but suddenly they become very much okay in next 24 hours, and then they live 8 to 10 years very happily. So when it comes to Saturn here gives you real life experiences, true experiences, and it gives you mastery through service. Saturn has to give you a little bit of precision later in life, but after you get the precision, you get mastery in service. That's what happens here. Also, sixth house is the house that is related to discipline on a very higher level. If this house is not considered the house of, like, for the disciplinary actions that we take in daily life, then Saturn's aspects are going to eat you alive. See, if you don't take too much of care of your health, Saturn's third aspect is on the eighth house. That means your life will become as vulnerable, keep on becoming vulnerable every day after day after day. Another situation is that sometimes you may not like to be in discipline, but the vulnerability of life is not liking discipline. We have to we have to overcome that. With the eighth house, we don't like suddenness. We always want everything to be planned. Saturn in the sixth house, go with planning, but it sometimes your plan may not work according to the timelines you have decided, because that's how Saturn works in the sixth house. And with looking at the eighth house, there may be always, your life will be on the point of uncertainty every minute. You may not know what's going to happen next minute. You may not going to happen. So planning here is very important. But adapting to everything that is happening around your environment is more important here. With this placement, Saturn looks at the 12th house. What will it do? It will put you in relationship with people behind the scenes, secretive relationships, we can say. While Saturn is looking at the eighth house, it's very good for Ayusha. Huh? So if you start practicing air exercises, any breathing exercises, it's very good for Ayusha. Your life becomes very, very long and peaceful. Same way, it is looking at the 12th house, and 12th house is the house that it talks about our karmic debts, by the way. This sixth house is debt, 12th house is karmic debt. So here you may actually, in your overall in your life, you may lose many, many relationships, many daily, like relationships that was a daily habit for you, may suddenly sometimes start losing. You may start losing it. Expenses will be happening on cold things. Does not mean ice cream. It means that something that are not required at all. You do it and then later you say, why did I buy this? It was of no use. If you now start counting at least 50 things in your house that is around you, you will say, I never needed this. I just bought it for the sake of it, and it's just like dead investment. And from here, Saturn puts one aspect on your third house, and that is the 10th aspect of Saturn, which is the most important aspect. It shows and it tells you what karma do you bring, what karma do you have to finish. Saturn in the sixth house, I told earlier also that wherever Saturn will sit, it will bring a very, very big responsibility related to that house. And this is the house related to responsibility, is related to service in your society. And with third house, that is the society. The 10th aspect of Saturn on the third house tells about the society that is nearby, where you live. There you have to do as much as service as you can. That's why people with Saturn in the sixth house generally become union leaders, generally become people who are standing up for all the what do you call, all the workers or all their neighbors, and they are people who take association, like HOA kind of association heads and whatnot. You are representative of people. You are going to be the person who will develop, we can say, the more the difficult the circumstance, the more the quicker you will be able to solve the problem. And there is no retirement for people who have Saturn in the sixth house. Constantly keep on working like a donkey. Work for others. You have come here to sacrifice your time for others. Sacrifice your energy, your patience, your past learning for other people so that they can take advantage. So if it is that way, then what is the problem? Let it be that way. Somehow your karmas are getting burned. Enemies, older people will become your enemies here. Some people who are much more mature than you will always try to make your their enemy. And the reason is just pure jealousy. Because sometimes we are not able to accept or adjust that someone so young can be so intelligent, and then they start countering you to show that they are very powerful. And that's where enemies will come to you. So Saturn in the sixth house is actually we can say very um, not say balanced. It all depends on the dignity of Saturn, that how it is and what it is, but it shows very coldness here, coldness. If you really want to make the Saturn work for you, go get into absolute vulnerable situation that you cannot accept and try to adapt that in your life. So go against it, and you will see how powerful your life becomes. Okay? All the very best. Have a great time. Do subscribe. Do comment below. Let me know what do you think about your Saturn in your sixth house as well. And then we will take it from there. All the best. Take care. Now, when Saturn comes to the seventh house, and we discuss about the advanced results. So basically, we can say partnerships delay, and there is problem in terms of partnership, and there are sometimes marriage related challenges that we see. These are all over the top things, but let's go into the depth of it. That's the if you want to see basic things related to partnership, related to shared duties and whatnot. So I've made a video earlier. Saturn in different houses, but this is now getting more into advanced. And after speaking to so many people, what is my collective thought about this? That's what I'm trying to portray here and put it forward. Now, seventh house makes this relationships, marriage, contracts, business partnerships, and public dealings very, very serious area of karmic development. That means understand that because Saturn is in the seventh house, in seventh house, Saturn gets Digbala because this is the west of the chart. It is the west of the chart, and this is where Saturn gets Digbala. In such situation, we will also see that with Saturn in the seventh house, Saturn also brings that responsibility, brings that, what do you say, that sacrifice that you have to do in the area of relationships and partnerships. In this situation, with Saturn in the seventh house, the problem is that you cannot depend on other people and consider them their your partners. But on the other hand, other people will depend on you and consider you their partner. So that means you have a bigger, more powerful responsibility. In that situation, you will also see that partnerships or relationships. Let's talk about first business partnership, then I will come to the romantic life. They may mature, like business partnership, very like you get in some cases two people come together, they start something, immediately they you know make great things, great development, great achievements, right? On the other hand, there are some partnerships that evolve over time, that mature over time. That's why lot and extreme patience is required when when Saturn is in the seventh house in Digbala, because it will bring you the right stuff. But the real nature of Saturn is to work peacefully, slowly, and in a disciplined, customized manner, not in impulsive or just radical manner. Saturn wants to take time for everything. Saturn is a very good listener. Saturn does not speak that much. Saturn is a very good listener. That's why when it comes to, when it comes to Saturn in the seventh house, in a partnership, you become a much more mature and powerful personality out of the both. And that's why whoever is your becoming your partner will listen, will try to, we can say, listen, and will try to, what do you say, create that or have that trust on you. That yes, if the person with seventh house Saturn is my partner, I can actually count on them. When it comes to seventh house, and I have seen with people about commitment. Seventh house is the house of contract. You signature done, right? See, love and romance is fifth house. That is the beginning, the seed, it is called. Sixth house is your daily routine, that how your daily routine is. And then comes seventh house, where you do a signature and say, okay, our love and our daily routine are matching, so we will now adjust according to each other. And that comes the seventh house. Seventh house is the house of signature. A very good client of mine gave me such a great insight. I did not know, so I now know. He said that when he was doing the chart with some very old astrologer. He not like online astrologer, very old, like in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. He said that I was talking to we call Uncle Ji because he used to come to our house and used to do all the astrology, and he has Saturn in the seventh house. He said that whenever you want to do signature in any document, any like ever, whenever in the world, any document that comes in front of you, you want to do a signature, as simple as you're writing a check for your own self to remove the money from your what do you say, from your bank account. Say wait for some time before you take it, you get ready for the signature, but say now wait, like wait now, think, do I really need it, do I want to do it, do I do this, do I do that, wait, like he said just wait for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, wait, then okay, nothing, no negative energy, sign, take out things. Then I said, then he said same thing happened at his marriage. He said when we went to the registrar's office, because he said in 90s, and the marriage certificate was a very different area of work. We used to go to court and get marriage certificates. So he said when I went, and then they said okay, signature. I said 5 minutes, and they were like, "What happened? You don't want to make it legal? This that." He said 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and just after 5 minutes he signed it. So somehow it also means that before, and this is case study. He is very successful, very extremely successful person I know. Now, in such cases, we should understand that if these kind of things can make a difference in life, we should try it. When we are doing any contract work, when we are supposed to give some very big commitment, written commitment, when we are about to send a mail right now, just wait 5 minutes and think that, okay, is this going to be okay? Is there any mistake, anything that I need to? Because Saturn is telling you to do this. Saturn is telling you the more and more patient you are, the more you think, the more I am going to give you the best possible long term great results. The more impulsiveness, that's why Mars comes here and gets into Marana Karakasthana in the seventh house. Seventh house is house of patience. Seventh house is house of diplomacy. Seventh house is exactly sixth from the second house. That means it is the daily work and routine of your speech. So the more quieter you are, the more better it is. Okay, so this small case study, see, this is how we keep learning. That's why if anyone calls me and tells me I got a job offer today, I have to give reply in the next 24 hours, what do I do? So what is my advice? Generally, these kind of appointments are very urgent ones. The urgent appointment, I have to get a job offer, tell me. I tell you that according to the place that they are, we will find out the hora of the Saturn at that point of time, or the hora of the seventh house lord. And depending on the nature of seventh house lord, we will tell, okay, in this period, say yes or say no. Ask yourself, say yes and then say no, or whatever the chart says that no, go for it, it's going to be very good. No, just leave it because it's not going to be good. So depending. But if Saturn comes, in many cases they come. I always say that wait in Saturn hora, sit with yes, don't send it. Just keep wait, and think that okay, what should I do? What are the pros and cons? How do I handle this company, that company? What is there anything that I lied? Is there anything where which can get me caught? So this is the way how you work with Saturn. You will see here that commitment is not just simply that emotion, but consistency, accountability, loyalty, and the willingness also. In this situation, Saturn says you have to have the willingness to in, stay in this situation, or stay in a situation in even the worst and the most difficult conditions as well. So this Saturn tells more about your social image as well, because the seventh house is 10th from the 10th. It shows how other people look at you as a partner, as a temporary partner, as a co-worker, how other people look at you, what other people thoughts. So you need to show these qualities so that the trust goes more powerful. The more trust you have, the more higher you go. Some relationships and some businesses only work on trust. That okay, I know this person is there now, I have no worries at all. Give him all the money. That's the nature of this act. You have to bring yourself to such a position where you start seeing so much of trust of people in you. Now here, there are different things as well. We will see here that Saturn has three aspects. Saturn is aspecting on your ninth house. This means that if you don't make your ninth house area upfront, miserable, and desirable, that you have to keep constantly creating opportunities for you to get higher education, for you to get learning, for you to get guru's advice, for you to get your father's advice. So you have to not run from it. You have to not run from education, higher education. You have to keep going on. You know what you say? Keep putting yourself into places where there is learning, where there is courses, where there is learning, where there is courses. The more you do, the more powerful results Saturn is going to give you, and the effort that you're supposed to waste otherwise. Effort is time is effort. If you're wasting that to learn something on the go, that can be utilized to gain more, because you've already made your life in a way, you've designed life in a way with Saturn's perspective that I am putting the third aspect on the ninth house. So this means that I am going to give him struggle if he does not have education. Ninth house is education. So Saturn is saying that if you don't do education, I am going to screw your happiness. So these people who have Saturn in the seventh house cannot stop learning. They are students for life. Your 70 years age does not matter. You have to learn more, keep learning. One thing done, second thing. Be progressive. Everyone thinks Saturn is old school and what it is. It is a person of old thoughts, but it also very progressive. Using old thought in modern era is not easy. That's Saturn's expertise. Saturn is putting an aspect on the Lagna. That means the more and more you will keep yourself out of the comfort zone and make a relationship with your own self. That, if there is no one in this world who's giving you the ability or the power to grow, it means that you have to now take things in your own hand and look in the mirror and say, I am your partner and you are my partner. Let's work together. So make your subconscious mind, make your attitude your partner. And somewhere that humbleness has to be there. With Saturn, if you don't respect Saturn's boundaries of humbleness, of empathy, Saturn will say, okay, don't respect right now, but when your time comes, you are going to receive the same pattern. That's why with Saturn, always be very humble, very respectful, always bow down. Even, I'll tell you one very great story. I was in Watford, London, very long ago, 2009. We parked. I was with someone. We parked the car. We went to Watford Temple. That time, Janvi and Tulsi Harrison, all these people were there. Anyways, um, there was a guy who was taking our shoes. Obviously, they are doing seva, they take shoes. So he took the shoes. The person that was with me, he said that, do you know who this person is? I said, no. That he's a billionaire. I think he's from Leicester or Birmingham. He came from there, and he's just doing seva. He will not talk to you at all. He will just take your shoes, keep it. No talking. And then he's wiping also. Billionaire at that point of time, 2009, or maybe multi-millionaire like Rolls Royce guy. Humbleness. That shows the humbleness of that person. That okay, I am still in the right place where I know God. I can be as rich, or what riches can come, what can happen, but I know what my duty is. I know how humble I have to be. I know how grounded I have to be. That is Saturn, a person who represents Saturn. And Saturn's aspect on the fourth house here means that you have to make your home life very uncomfortable. You cannot be sitting comfortably at home. You have to be out of your house. The more out you are from your house, the more successful you will be. The more, what do you say, the more comfort will come to you. More out of comfort will give you more comfort. Okay, all the very best. I think I told a lot, a lot, a lot. Have a great time. Do subscribe, do comment. Let me know what do you think about your Saturn in this placement, and we will take it forward from there. And if you want to discuss your chart in detail with me, there's WhatsApp number here, 4034931188. It's in the link below. There's a WhatsApp group as well where we discuss so many great things about astrology. So you can watch, you can join that also. Very regulated group, just like Saturn. We have a Saturn powerful person managing it. So all the very best. See you there. Saturn in the eighth house, generally, what I've seen, obviously, this is the house of transformation, and this is the house of changes, and this is the house of sudden ups and downs. We also see this house when it comes to inheritance, when it comes to any kind of taxation, and all these kind of in areas, everything. But the depth of Saturn in this house, when we try to measure it, it is way beyond our what we are thinking. Number one most important thing with Saturn here in the eighth house is related to a shock. With Saturn in the eighth house, it will always change your life after a very big shock. That shock can come from any aspect of your life, but it has to be coming multiple times. When I speak to people, see, this is advanced version of what I made the Saturn in the eighth house. We have to understand that here, Saturn, wherever it sits in a birth chart, and if it's in the eighth house, it means that it has to be responsibility related to that house. And the responsibility that I have figured out of the Saturn in the eighth house with talking to so many people is that it brings the responsibility of overcoming your obstacles again and again and again. And you will see constantly start of a career, death of a career, again start of a career, death of a career, start of a business, death of a business. It will keep going through that cycle because this is the house of longevity. So it has to give you the epic transformation, either related to your career, either related to finances, or either related to your children. Because from this house, Saturn makes three relationships. The third aspect on the 10th house, career. Seventh aspect of the second house, money, value system. And on the fifth house of children and romance. So with this Saturn, you will also understand that crisis and fear will become a very constant part of your life. And every moment or every time, you will have to just do crisis management and overcome a fear. Then you will do something, again, fear will build up, crisis will happen, you have to overcome it and kill the fear. So that's the nature of Saturn here. This is the place, this is eighth house is the place for which Saturn is called the Karaka. That means it is the significator of the eighth house. And with Saturn coming here, it is the most non-biased planet. And that's why Saturn even does not leave his own signs. Does not mean that Saturn sitting in the own sign is becoming very good. It becomes more powerful. In the eighth house, the anxiety of Saturn related to your age actually diminishes. In this situation, Saturn feels that, okay, this person has to live for a very, very long life and he will be able to fulfill all his karmas. Saturn is not giving you any long life so that you can enjoy. Saturn is giving you long life so that you can have the same pattern going on and on. Start obstacle, fear, overcome a fear, overcome obstacle, start again. That's the nature. Many people I spoke to. In fact, today also in the morning, I was doing one reading with someone. They had Saturn in the eighth house. I told them that you're in Saturn Mahadasha. You have to completely forget and surrender here. Saturn Mahadasha comes and Saturn is in the fourth house or eighth house or 12th house, then understand that your life is all about rebuilding everything, rebuilding everything, rebuilding everything. Now, here you will see that the eighth house is also called the house of ancestral responsibility. And when it comes to eighth house, there may be possibility that there could be eighth house inheritance. That means you will come here to solve a very big ancestral problem. Either it is related to family disputes, either it is related to some property, either it is related to some land property wishes, but you have come here to make a very big statement around the ancestral responsibility. With this, you will also have um, how do I say this, the transformations that come to your life will be very, very visible. Like, many people suddenly transform, we don't even realize, but for you it is going to be a very visible, powerful transformations that you will see. It is going to be constantly happening. Remember this also very well. Constantly, back to back, again and again, back to back, again and again, it will happen. Now, with this, when it comes to Saturn, the patience level of your cycle and the psychological depth and the patience level to use that psychology to heal other people, yourself, environments around you is very, very high. And your vulnerability towards, towards kindness becomes very high. Saturn is in the Ashtavana. You are kind, you let things happen, you let things go. You do not fight over something on and on, going on and on. And you was, if something, some problem comes, you will say, okay, I accept this as my vulnerability. It's okay. It happened, right? Let it be. You will not be a fighter. You know, obviously, this is the house of occult also, astrology, occult, and whatnot. You must have seen that with its Saturn, as soon as you age, your dependence on all the occult sciences become much more powerful. And not only this is good, but on top of that, it is also going to be that you will start some research or some sadhana into that occult science. It does not matter that it is astrology only. It can be any kind of psychology related stuff. It can be something very mystic. It can be numerology. It can be any kind of occultism. You will keep going on, slowly getting into the depth, into the depth, into the depth and depth and depth, and you will want to research so much. And where you want to research old things, you will want to research absolutely ancient things. When Saturn comes to the eighth house, generally, even if it is by chance with Rahu, by any chance, then you can become the biggest tantric. Like, you are a biggest tantric from your past lives. You come with a tantric does not mean a bad person. Tantric means you know all the procedures, how to do things, how to get things done. You will also see that this kind of situation with Saturn here, people will generally compare you to your ancestors. They will say, you are just like your grandfather. He was also like this only. Because the traits from the depth of, what your ancestors has been now absorbed into you. You have such powerful traits of them that some people will say, you just look like your grandfather, man. You look like your great grandfather. You have this kind of a, or your grandmother, or you have this kind of a attitude exactly like my father. Kind of comparisons will happen with you. Also, you will see here, this is the house of joint finances. Saturn here clearly says that in case if your joint finances are with your in-laws, with the people who are your your spouse's mother or father or their family members, then the possibility of making it much bigger, much expansive, much what do you say, multiplying it is much better, really. Because the problem is that Saturn is placed in the house of the in-laws, but the aspects of Saturn are ruining two important things. That is, first, it is ruining your 10th house, which means that it will ruin your father's property. Secondly, it is ruining your second house, that means your own family's property. So If you want to work here, just take the first token amount from your in-laws and start some work. Even the token amount can be like $10. But say that, okay, you get $10, you get equity here in my company, and I'm going to start business with this first $10 that you have given. And do it, actually, literally do it. You will see that time expansion comes. I have a chart with a person who has Saturn and Mercury in the eighth house in the sign of Taurus. That person got married. Like, that person was from Gujarat. He got married. He came to New York. He started staying in the house of in-laws. In-laws were into laundry business. He said that, you know what, let's start some food chain also. I can do good food business and whatnot. They said, okay, we will give you some money. They started now because of the in-laws supporting that person. Now he's into like in the millions and millions. Like, his full chain of, like, I think he owns like 12 subways only, and then so many other different franchises. So I'm just saying that joint finances are very great here, but it has to be coming from your in-laws. The seed money has to come from that place. Now, since this is the placement of Saturn, we have to see the aspects, because they give us more clarity about how to then measure it. Now, with aspects, we will see that Saturn is putting an aspect on the 10th house. That is the third aspect. That means make your life uncomfortable at work. You make your life uncomfortable at work. Let not Saturn do it. Let completely make your life as if that in the workplace you are in the worst position. You are working 10 people's work. If you think that, okay, it's chilled out and I'm relaxing and whatnot, no, that's not how it works here. It's going to be really, really bad for you. You have to say that I have to be in the one of the most worst, position. And if there is one person's work, I will demand two more persons' work, and see how the wonderful results of Saturn you get here. Because this is the aspect of efforts on your career, on your profession. Saturn always says, do extra, I will give you. Do extra, I will give you. It is also related to third aspect on the 10th house is related to your public status. That who are you? That's why many people with this kind of a placement generally show a very profound maturity in their workplace. You are looked up as a very learned, very mature, very patient person. And if that is not the case, then that means failure will come. So make sure that you build that image around your life. With Saturn aspecting the second house is the house of your family values and house of your money. In this case, if with Saturn looking at the second house, if you lend money to anyone, the longevity of that lending will be so high that you will not be able to recover it in this lifetime. You'll have to take a birth again to extract money out of that person in the next lifetime. So this means that no money should be given to other people. You should take other people's money, use it wisely and give it back. Very good. But if you give, it is not coming back. And same way, Saturn is looking with the 10th aspect on the 5th house. This means that there is a very big karmic pattern or karmic connection with your children and with your romance and love, which is a very big responsibility in your life. And this is also the connection of the past life ancestral patterns that we can see. Someone from the past, even your family member, can come back as your child to recover what is theirs. So that is also a possibility. You will see here with this, education can become very challenging and delayed. And sometimes education only becomes a very big barrier in our life for growth. That's why those people who have Saturn aspecting the 5th house should continuously keep on doing some small 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week courses, on and on and on and on and on and on. So that what Saturn will now focus on different areas. It will not focus on your education area. Skill level is very high here, especially human skills like hand skills are very, very high. And Saturn is aspecting your 5th house. Creativity is delayed, but the kind of solution that you come with cannot be replaced by anything. So Saturn in the eighth house generally is a very, very powerful planet for transforming your life regularly. Okay. All the very best. Do comment below. Let me know if you find this useful. Is it happening the same way? And it's a very advanced version, so I think many people will not even understand. But do comment below. Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. There is a WhatsApp link in the description if you want to discuss your chart with me. Thank you. So, Saturn will be in the ninth house for you. We discussed about it in the early times that it is more related to your, your destiny, and it is related to your education. It can delay and whatnot. But the ninth house has a very deeper and more far powerful meaning to it. While it is also the house of higher education and travel and whatnot and pilgrimage, but it is in a great way associated with Saturn's energy of morality. It is the house of ethics. That's why it's called the highest house of dharma and the bhagyasthana. That means the place of destiny. Here, you will see that with Saturn, generally the maturity of people who have Saturn in the ninth house will happen a little bit of later. That means there is possibility that you may not get the right guidance at the very beginning. Which what I have seen, see the other Saturn video that I made where Saturn in this house and it is good, bad, whatnot, it's all there on the channel. You can watch. Now we are getting into more philosophical depth of a planet. And when Saturn gets into the ninth house, there is also great possibility that it puts you into a spot or into a place where your responsibility towards dharma, responsibility towards righteousness is tested, which means that it will give you opportunities in both directions. It will give you opportunities in directions where you can unethically try to approach something or get things done unethically. It will also try to test you that in very easy situations, what kind of dharma do you choose, ethics or non-ethics? I don't know what is the opposite of ethics. Here, with Saturn, what I have seen with other people who have Saturn in this ninth house, generally it gives you a lot of traditional knowledge as well. You may also see that unless and until, see, Saturn is a planet wherever it will sit, it will bring a very great responsibility for that house. And here your responsibility is to earn wisdom through experience rather than expecting beliefs blindly. You may want to experience everything in life. You may have a extremely serious relationship, like one-on-one relationship with spirituality. This is a place where constant search of knowledge and ancient knowledge. Knowledge is okay. We all know knowledge. We all have to learn something to become someone. But ancient knowledge, and you will put your heart, your soul, your mind, your body, everything into that place so that you can get spiritual knowledge in your life. You may see that see with Saturn, old, very old school teachers you will get. You will get teachers of very, very old school methods, and you will also be comfortable with people who come to your life and who are giving that feeling of old school behavior, old school knowledge, old school texts. You will see that long distance travel, or ninth house is also the inclusion in your clan, like the inclusion in the clan that you're born. The atmosphere of your clan is seen from the ninth house. And here there may be always some kind of, you will be far from your, not emotionally but physically, you will be far from your clan, from your kind of people. Saturn is a very cold planet, so it will create sometimes very coldness. Or generally, like for example, if I want to meet some of my clan and my people, I will just go like my religious, thoughtful people. I will go to a temple and I will find it very easily. But with your kind of case, it may be a very specific niche clan that you have, and you may not have access to that every like regularly. Patience and disciplines are generally tested in the areas related to philosophy. Sometimes you are the one who will be getting into a lot of philosophical debates, and there may be possibility that those philosophical debates may not go according to your own ideas or your own belief system, and that may require you to rethink about philosophy. You will also say that in this situation I've spoken to many people, and one of the instance clearly says that when it comes to superficial what do you say belief, you will not believe unless and until you experience it. Saturn here has a rigid way to make you believe things only after a very very long period of what you call long period of testing. If Saturn is here, that means your major responsibility in this life has to be education. That you have come here to evolve into a higher self. In fact, there may be possibility that you may find a teacher during important stages of your life, important stages of maturity of your life, and you may eventually become yourself a respected mentor because you have learned experiences not from destiny. You have learned experiences from your from your hardships. Do you think Saturn will be so keeping you so lucky when it comes to ninth house of luck? It will come here. Does it make you lucky? It makes you lucky because you will survive every problem, but it does not make you lucky that problems will not come into your life. This is also placement where you will see that you may somehow connect, like with Saturn here, you may somehow connect with very ancient civilizations sometimes, or very ancient temples or mosques or churches or some place of religious worship. You may have a deep connection somewhere that no, this is my calling. I need to be here. I need to be at this kind of an institution. In fact, there is also great possibility because ninth house is house of languages. So you may know some languages, or you may know some ancient languages, or maybe you may know multiple languages, and that will be the greatest mode of communication for you. Your multiple languages. These kind of people generally are very extremely serious. You are not a fun person. See, your Saturn is aspecting with the seventh aspect of the third house. That means you are not going to be opening up in communication too quickly with other people. You are going to be of a reserved personality. And that's exactly how this Saturn will shape your life. That you will be a reserved personality. You will not get into any kind of BS. That no, I don't. I want to do this. That no. It's going to be very, what you say, very mature decisions. Very, and if you become a mentor and you get into a leadership kind of an area, you will like everything so damn organized. And the power with people with Saturn in the ninth house is that their Saturn's third aspect, the aspect of effort, goes on the 11th house. That means you are the kind of people who can manage a very big set of people. So with Saturn in the ninth house, it means that that's why it can take you towards a lot of mentorship roles, a lot of roles related to handling a crowd, handling groups, handling big, big audience. I have a very nice chart of someone who has Saturn in the ninth house, and she is Indian. She is based out of what do you call Kolkata, West Bengal, somewhere. I don't remember the place. Such a great writer. She used to write for the Free Press Journal in India and whatnot. Such a great writer she is. She always used to write for masses. And ninth house is the house of publishing as well. That means here, the more and more writing happens, the more and more, what you say, publishing happens, you are going to be making much more progress in your career than expected. So we can say you are a sales executive. So write vlogs about how to do sales, how difficult situations can be converted into a specific and a nice and a powerful sales pitch, and how it can be marketed. So any field that you are in, start writing, start researching old. The faith of the ninth house has a bigger power of faith here. You will see that with time, your faith in a certain religion, certain aspect of life, certain principle of life will become so damn powerful that after a point of time, you will not feel the kind of hardships that you have felt from your childhood. As soon as you mature, as soon as you grow, you will see that faith will take over everything. You will have so much of faith in God. Saturn is an extremely spiritual planet. Remember this very clearly. Saturn is the most unbiased planet, most spiritual planet, and it has very, very great ability to do sadhana. Ninth house is also the house of sadhana. You will first do disciplined learning, and then you will do very amazing sadhana around it. With ninth house Saturn, whenever we look at Saturn, we also look at the aspects of Saturn. If we don't look at the aspects of Saturn, then Saturn is of no use because the aspects are more powerful. See, I told you the third aspect of the 11th house means that you will have the power to control a very big set of people. You will be able to express yourself or bring a very big chaotic environment to actual peace. So that's why leadership roles, sorry, leadership roles, those who are motivated to become a group leader, a group head, a community leader, politics, very great placement. Those who want to become judges, where you bring a very big set of audience or people into justice, very great placement. With Saturn aspecting on your third house, see, hard work, obviously, you will be the people who will be doing hard work without fail because your third and your sixth house is aspected by Saturn. But sometimes you may feel that the results of your hard work, that you're doing hard work, is not really exactly how it should convert. That's why you need to have a little bit of attitude of Saturn in work, and that is a cunning attitude. This is not a placement of people's pleasing. This is a placement of putting people to the right places. And that's why if you become too over generous here and go against the qualities of Saturn in terms of your approach towards wisdom, towards how you want to conduct a work because of the 10th aspect of Saturn on the sixth house, if you work without any kind of cunningness, now cunningness does not mean unethical nature. Cunningness means that my interest comes first. And I am going to make sure that if my interest comes first and if I'm promising something to you, I am going to fulfill it till I go to my grave. That's the kind of commitment. That's the kind of attitude you need to take. But also on the other hand, because sixth house is enemies, so people cannot take advantage of you. Your generosity should not come to people as a weakness. That's the clear message that you need to put out to people when who you're working with. Because otherwise, in this situation, people will say that, okay, this too weak person, let's take advantage of this person. You have to give no chance at all for anyone to take advantage of you. That's how power of Saturn in the ninth house and the aspects of Saturn works for you. Make your social circle chaos, make your hard work area chaos. Like you have to overwork, you have to take overwork, like you have to be overworked and see the powerful results that you get with Saturn. Okay, all the very best. Have a great, beautiful time. Sorry, it's a little bit of philosophical, but it is what it is. This is my higher advanced version, and you have a great, beautiful time. If you want to subscribe, good. And there's a WhatsApp link in the description if you want to discuss your chart with me in detail. All the best. Saturn in the 10th house. It's the karma bhava of Saturn, the karma adhipati lord, or we can say the karma phaladata, who is someone who's going to give every result of every karma comes to the 10th house, and does not mean that our life has become very simple and very nice and very awesome. No. Here you will see that Saturn is going to grind you, like it is going to put you into machine and grind and grind and grind and make you yourself the better version of yourself. And with everything, there will be delays. See, 10th house is your career, your profession, your power, your maturity at your workplace. Everything is in the hand of Saturn now. And not only workplace is 6th house, but this is the karma. That what is the karma and how mature you are to able to do the karma. If you tell a 2-year-old to take a glass of water and put it into the sink, he will go and throw it, or she will go and throw it, because that is the maturity of karma, doing a karma. They will do it. My daughter now she's trained to do all this. But they will not keep it because obviously the maturity is not there. How do you now behave? You were told to keep the, cup in the sink. So the people with less maturity will go and keep the cup in the sink. The people with higher maturity will take that cup, rinse it, and keep it out there. People with more higher authority will take the cup, rinse it, wash it nicely, dry it out, and keep it in the right place. There are 3 maturity levels here, just in keeping a cup in the sink. So here, Saturn says that how powerful I'm going to make in your maturity at karma, so that you do the right thing and you start from the right point and end at the right point. That's why it's going to give you hardships. It is not here to just make you do karmas. It is here to build a legacy for you. Sorry, very unwell, but I'm doing it. You may also see that you may have to work more harder than your peers around you, even with a higher designation. So you think that your designation has now become a senior manager, and there is a manager under you. The manager will be chilled out, but you will be working more hard than being a senior manager. You will not be able to delegate every work to everyone, because end of the day, unless and until your perfection level or your satisfaction comes that, okay, I am satisfied with this kind of a outcome, then only I will go ahead. That has to happen. And for that, the trust factor is a very important factor here. You may not be able to trust your peers very quickly. That's why when it comes to work, you will work very hard than expected to establish that professional credibility of yours. That, okay, if it is coming from my team, if it is coming from my side, then I have to take that responsibility of everything. And somewhere in that situation, you may overburn yourself. I've spoken to people in the 10th house, Saturn, they may be watching right now, and you can write down, because I always say that you are donkeys. You are going to do other people's work also. Well, that is the nature of Saturn here. Saturn does not want to do only our work. It wants to be in every other plate. Then no. You made the presentation, okay, show it to me. Then you will say, okay, I don't, because there is no trust factor. And the trust factor is not there because of maturity of Saturn. The more mature Saturn is, the more less trust factor you will have on other people. With Saturn in the 10th house, there is another clear research that I have seen is with longevity of work. See, Saturn, wherever it will come in any house, it will give you a responsibility related to that house. So we understand the responsibility is that there is everyone's work is my work, is the responsibility. Now comes the area of maturity. And now comes the area of longevity. So Saturn, wherever sits, it gives longevity. It gives long. So sometimes many people, some people who have spoken to, they're working in the same company for 10 years, 15 years, 17 years, 19 years. That is possibility. And if that is not happening, that means your Saturn is afflicted. Your Saturn is not in great shape and it is not giving you longevity. We have to work more harder on Saturn. You will see that the beginning will be very slow. The beginning will be very, very slow. You will, when you will start your career, it will just move at a snail speed. The more capability comes, the more power comes automatically. Here, you're not um, showcasing or desiring a growth. You are being seen as a mature person, and then you are given growth. That's why when it comes to management skills, you become so amazing at management skills because you are now capable to be in that place. So it's not by luck that you will become someone, it's by real karma that you will become someone. Hard work, accountability. You will be the one who will be taking accountability. And the honesty of Saturn, I was speaking to one very, very nice client of mine, again from North America. She has Saturn here. She said that, I messed up. I messed a very big project. What do I do? She took an urgent appointment. Saturn in 10th house. See the see the maturity, see the courage to take accountability of something that I've done wrong, and because of that, everything can get ruined. Only if I tell that this is wrong and we can just revise back, then it will be great. And her honesty worked. She called and she said that, what, my to the boss, that, oh, I think we submitted the deck, but it has these two mistakes. Can we redo it? And can we again send it? Otherwise, it will be a very big mess and we can even lose this contract. And the manager said that, very good, please do it, please send it. It was done, it was sent, and they got the contract. That means honesty and accountability worked here, rather than if there was another Rahu present here. Rahu says, okay, let it slide, doesn't matter, I will see. But here, that accountability, that it is my name associated with it. It is because of me, other people will lose something. That's the feeling of Saturn in the 10th house. Here you will see that I told you, you're not here for only work. You're here to create a legacy of yours. That's why with Saturn in the 10th house, and when people like you leave an organization, your organization completely tells you that, listen, the doors are very open for you. You can come here anytime. You just give us a call, come here anytime. You're always welcome. They will not be said, finally we're getting rid of someone. No. That's the credibility, that's the kind of legacy that you have created. And for that, the sacrifices, the kind of holidays, the kind of events that you have missed, the kind of birthdays you have missed, the kind of wedding anniversaries you have missed, this is all adding up to your karmic pattern. That means you have given work much more higher designation, higher place than any other event of your life. You will see that this placement will generally create every kind of administrators, because that's what I talk to, executives, like high top notch executives, builders, managers, government related professionals, especially those who are decision making, those who are licensing government officials, someone who are generally engineers, more who are working on very, very heavy and old equipments, sometimes those who are in strategies, and people who gradually rise in place of authority. Your spouse may say that, okay, you are turning 50, where is your authority? Suddenly at 55, you are at the top notch place. So somehow, because Saturn is a planet that gives a little bit later in life, you will see that the later Later part of the life is much more rewarding for you than your earlier part of your life. Recognition may come later, that's okay. But when it arrives, it tends to be based on that proven competence. You will also see that when it comes to this kind of Saturn, not only the placement of Saturn is important for us, the aspects of Saturn also play a very, very important role. The first half of your life, because Saturn is putting an aspect on the 12th house of behind the scenes work, you will see that all the work that you're doing is being felt like a behind the scenes only. It is all behind the scene. There is nothing like very, 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 very like something that is giving you immediate results. Not there. The second of your life, that behind the scenes comes back. In fact, sometimes you are the kind of people which I discuss with people that a work done 10 years ago is still giving profit to the whole company. That's how powerful your Saturn is. So never ever lose that patience, lose that hope, lose that, what do you say, lose that confidence. These kind of people need to be very consistent in their work. Okay, sometimes Saturn can also make us very lazy. Whenever Saturn gets retrograde, it is a lazy period where you feel that, I'm done, I don't want to do anything, because the forward motion is not there, right? You are just relaxing. And that's where sometimes, because Saturn is getting retrograde every year for 5 months, we want to be sure that we are always consistent, because reputation through consistency will bring that achievement for you which you are really, really craving for. And that achievement also has a layer of patience. Sometimes you may be promised, like your boss may say, I think next year, I think you have to be given the promotion because you have done very great, and I think I have to take you. Maybe that next year it not does not come. It will be 2 more years for your promotion to come. So you'll have to have patience, but it will come. You will see that behind the scenes work, people may take advantage of it as well. And it is very, very proven with Saturn in the 10th house. You work on something and someone else takes away the credit. But they are not able to take your karma, my friend. Karma. Universe knows who has done what, and it has to give you back. Please have patience for the right stuff. Saturn is also aspecting on your fourth house here, which means that unless and until you make your home life absolutely so busy, so chaotic, it will not be able to give you good results here. You have to make sure. In fact, there is one very great research I came across. This is nothing to do with this, but I'll tell you very great research of a very big billionaire guy who has Saturn here, and his son told me very clear thing that my dad is always doing construction at home, at work. Like he has people on payroll who are doing furniture work morning, evening, night, morning, evening, night. Every time there is something going on, some construction, some demolition, some. That's what Saturn does. So what has he done is that he has created a chaos around the fourth house. That is some construction, something has to keep going on, even if it is not required. Same way, obviously, we cannot do so much, but regularly, in as many intervals as you can, please make sure some kind of construction or something, some work is going on and on in your house, like just repairing of something, just remodeling something, just recreating something, just as soon as simple as the changing of a switchboard, and you will see that how this Saturn really, really brings prosperity to you. This is a remedy actually. And because of the Saturn putting an aspect on the seventh house, it means that your authority does not come on a single level, it has to be in a group level. Because here, Saturn is putting the 10th, the karma aspect, on the house of partnerships. So you have to constantly evolve in partnerships, and you have to make short-term partnerships, long-term partnerships, either in workplace as a with a colleague, either in business with a business partner. But you have to constantly have other people also involved with you. Then you will see the progress of getting public status. You are the people who can really and genuinely build very large lasting institutions or a career, and also your leadership always will come through experience. That is why you will be valued. There is no other reason. You will be so much in chaos all your life that when other time, the next time a chaos comes, you'll be able to solve it, and people will say, "Man, this your experience is crazy. How do you know all this?" That's the kind of feedback you will get from people. Huh. All the very best. Have a great, beautiful, wonderful Saturn time. And do comment below. Let me know that if these kind of things are making sense to you, because this is very advanced, not like on a surface level. And share your experience. And there is a WhatsApp link in the description if you want to talk to me personally. On the other hand, there is also a WhatsApp group in the link. You can join that. There is so much of research going on there, so you may get more and more and more pointers about different planets. All the best. Saturn in the 11th house. Now, in the Kala Purusha Kundali, that means in a general chart that starts from 1, this becomes the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn. So that means close your eyes and think that who is the one that gives us gains? Saturn. It is now come to the house of gains, house of responsibility, house of social responsibility, house of, we can say, our wishes, evolved wishes, not like wishes like I want to become 500 crores and I want to become 500 million. That is all stupid wishes. What have you done for it? Really, really moral wishes. Something that gives structure to your ambition. And Saturn is the one fully capable here to do wonders for you. Like with this kind of a Saturn, it is very hard to fail. It is slow to get progress, to get your goals complete, but very difficult, very hard to fail here. Saturn in the 11th house generally creates very slow, structured, and very durable gains through networks. Even big organizations, large organizations, big groups that are 300 years old, 200 years old, sometimes 1,000-year old. Saturn here, I have seen almost 99% of Saturn with 11th house will make you isolated, because the kind of social maturity that you have is you will not be able to find very easily. That's why people with Saturn in the 11th house, and I speak to them regularly, is we don't have friends, we don't get along with people, no one understands me, everyone is taking advantage of me. This happens here because they are not able to get on that wavelength that you have. With Saturn here, you will see that you will not receive any instant gains. Every time there may be a delay, because the gain that you're expecting is not exactly what Saturn is here to fulfill. The gain that Saturn wants to give is the gain of abundance and permanence. That I want to give you gains right now. If I give you something, it will be very temporary. Let me delay, delay, delay. You have patience now, so that I can give you very permanent gains. This is the Saturn where you have to go into the depth. See, we are doing depth related videos. The normal Saturn video where you will have friends, you'll have older friends, you will have this, that. It's all done. It's all there on the channel. But this is there where this is the kind of Saturn that actually gives you, once you identify what other people have done, tried, tested, done, and lost interest in, and now you are supposed to pursue it. So long lost interest of people, and your research will tell you, because it is putting the aspect on the 8th house, that is the research, the 10th aspect of Saturn here, will tell you that what long lost things that people left behind is where you will get success. Very important and very minute detail I'm telling you. No one knows about all this. That immediately, if you continue working towards a goal long after others have lost interest, you will get the reward of your lifetime. Some people started an NGO, now they could not continue because their motives will take over. Some people started some old work, now they are retiring, they cannot take over. they cannot continue, take over. Some people who started something for greed, now they want to do something else, take over. This is a place of second hand work. Even technology, rather than starting a company, you should buy a failed company. Failed company. If your company failed, na, I will buy it. I will not start something new, I will buy it. Old things, bring old things into your life, bring old principles into your life, bring old people's principle. See the principle of 1900s people, like those people who had principles in the 1900s, that this is what how we will work. Bring that to your life and see how powerful achievement of goal happens here. That is a remedy actually. When it comes to 11th house, it is a very important house because see, I told you, any house Saturn sits will bring responsibility related to that house. And here it is supposed to bring responsibility related to your friends. There will be a time, there will be a point where you will have to take care of some of your friend in a way where you cannot avoid that situation. And that is the karmic balance that you have to give, because Saturn is putting the seventh aspect of relationships on your fifth house. That means here, someone so loved will come into your life where you have to take the responsibility. Either it is a friend, either it is a your elder sibling, something will happen. And it may also give sorrow because you may help someone with absolute heart by thinking that everything I'm able to give to this person, but you may not receive that humble respect from the other side. That is the sorrow Saturn wants to build to make sure that your karmic pattern is complete. With Saturn in the seventh house, if you have any greedy, what do you say, emotion towards making money through lottery or making money through speculative gains like cryptocurrency, stock market, if it is greedy, we think stock market we made $100,000, very nice. Your $100,000 is someone's $100,000 of loss. So the money that we make in stock market is actually sorrowful money. Think about it now clearly. Why will I give you? You have a stock of mine. You bet it something and something went wrong, and you did not gain. But now other person waited and patient and whatnot, they gain. So what do I do as a curse? That my God, my money is gone, man. I'll have to now do a suicide. The maximum number of people committing suicide are right now are people who have got financial losses through cryptocurrency, through share market and stock market. These are the two primary areas for where people do suicide. Why? Because that's how the nature of this placement is. That or nature of the business is that other people's loss is my gains. But we don't know how that money is coming from, what sorrow that money is coming from. We think that it's profit for us. That's why my suggestion would be here. And obviously, see, the whole world works that way. There's no other way. There's no other way to work. My whole way of suggesting you that the money that you're trying to earn with Saturn in the 11th house has to be goal based. It does not have to be greed based. So you may think that okay, I invested something somewhere here, and now I made from my $100 it became $300. That was my goal. And if you take it out very well, Saturn is completely your goal. But now you say, no, let me wait, man. Let me just wait and let me just do something and then that money will come down. Because if your goal is getting complete and with Saturn is saying that I have done my job, if you don't take it now, I will going to give you complete losses here. You'll also see that with this Saturn, unless and until you have very, very long-term strategies, you're not going to really make it in this lifetime. So you need to have extremely long-term strategies. Now, coming to also the aspects of Saturn in a while I'll just come to the aspects, I want to say two or three more things. Saturn is not a futuristic planet. Remember, then 11th house is a futuristic house. So you can be futuristic, but you will have to use old school methods. Then only you will have success. I have tried, tested in many people's chart who are businessmen. I tell them, go back and use an old school 1950s some marketing campaign and use that in your business and see if it works or does not work. It worked. So you may be in progressive thinking, you may be right now working on AI, but you will have to still use a strategy of 1950s, 1960s kind of promotion area. Example. Here you will see that you the kind of networks that you will make, they will trust you with blindfold. And that's the power of this Saturn in the 11th house. With this Saturn, the aspects, we cannot miss the aspects. So the first aspect is going on the first house. The third aspect of Saturn goes on the first house, which means on your own self. Which means that the moment you will come into comfort zone, Saturn will end all the benefits for you. You have to be in chaotic environment. You have to be in chaos. You have to always be extra, go a mile extra. And when it is not required, then also you have to be overworked. You have to take maximum responsibilities because the Saturn's aspects are supposed to be very, very difficult. Rather than make our life difficult on our own, I'll tell you one very good story. I was in Channel V. Channel V in India, I was working in Channel V, and I was a very, very bad worker. I used to not work very nicely. I used to always, do time pass and whatnot. One day, one of my bosses, he called me. I was a very junior resource, not even earning $300 a month. So he told me and he called me and he said, sit here. I said, okay. He said, when you come to office for 8 hours, you are a slave of hours. I'm like, okay. And he said, there are two ways now to uh, have prosperity. One is that the kind of time pass that you're doing, every 2 hour, 1 hour, you're going out, chilling for 30 minutes and then coming back. And 8 hours, you're my slave. So in that 8 hours, I want you to be as productive as you can because that will not help me. That will help you in your future. I said, how will it help? You're a kid. I was 17, 18 years of age. And I was like, what will my life shape and whatnot? But I took it seriously. I started making my life more miserable. Like miserable means very miserable. I used to work over hours. I used to go crazy into debt because I understood something universe is trying to tell me. Because my grandfather also used to tell me the same thing, that you are a kamchor. Kamchor means you don't work. You just skip work. So I said, no, let me just try this. And it actually worked for me because from no one, I became a person of trust for everyone that, okay, if there is any difficult task, give it to Akash, he will do it. That was the trust that was created. And because of that, I got from $300 to $1,000 job, I got a jump in 6 months. So Saturn says, make your life more chaos. Don't get into comfort zone. Same way, Saturn is looking at the fifth house, which means that in that area of speculation, in that area of romance and love also, you need to be over careful, over giving, over involved, over for children also. It has to be, you have to go far beyond what they're expecting from you. Then you will get success. And because Saturn is putting the aspect on the eighth house, unless and until you are thinking through, you are making your life, you're overcoming a fear every time, then only your life will come to the right spot. Otherwise, you're not going to be in the right spot. With this situation and with this Saturn, you will always have to be uncomfortable. If you're in comfort zone related to your own self, that I am sitting and chilling, I will make it, nothing is going to happen. If even in the fifth house, if you're sitting and saying, okay, a relationship night will keep working, no, you have to go extra mile for everything. And with Saturn looking at the eighth house, you have to bring fear in your life every day and overcome it. Bring fear, overcome it. Bring fear, overcome it. And that's going to make a very, very damn big difference in your life. And I'm really saying with this pure heart and not like some bookish knowledge. It is real talking to people. I've understood that this is how it works. Saturn in the 11th house will build your wealth. through time, samay. Saturn is the karaka, significator of time. So please give time. The more mature you will become, the more success will come to you. But success has to come if you follow the principles of Saturn in a very pious and a beautiful manner. All the very best. Have a great, beautiful time. This video is going to be like 3 hours long now because 15 minutes I've spoken for every sign. From 5 minutes I came to 10. From 10 I'm coming to 15. One day there will be a time when I will be speaking 1 hour for one video, one sign. All the best. Have a great time. Do comment below. Let me know your experience. And there's a WhatsApp link in the description for personal appointments. And those who want to join a WhatsApp group, it is also there below. I also teach classes. That is also there below. Everything is there. Just look and just be Saturn. Achievement through consistency. All the best. Thank you. Do subscribe. Okay. Saturn is going to give you progress of your goals. I also want progress for my goals. 12th house. Now, while we see 12th house, it is again the karaka, the significant of the 12th house is Saturn only. 6th house, 8th house, 12th house. All the Dushtanas, the planet that is called, it is called Papa Graha, it is called Dushta Graha, is kind of Saturn. Saturn is the 12th house is more generous to you. Because 12th house does not mean only house of loss and isolation and spirituality. It is called the house of surrender of your ego. The greatest lesson that everyone learn and what I have seen with people in the Saturn the 12th house is that over time you are the people who stop asking for recognition because your ego is dead now. You're not doing hard work as a part of visibility. You're doing hard work as a part of karma. It is a very evolved place of Saturn to be. It creates profound lessons around solitude, around foreign lands, around the kind of expenses. And the expenses doesn't mean only money, the expense of your time that you have devoted for other people. Service, selfless service, your sleep, your subconscious patterns, and ultimate surrender. When I was talking to someone, he told a very nice line, and that's why I've written also. Saturn creates invisible structures of life in the 12th house. That's what that person told me, and he will be listening to it because I will follow it. You have to comment below as well. Saturn creates invisible structures of life. You have such great, powerful pillars in your life, but they're invisible because this is the house of completely secrets. You will see that this is a placement where direct experience does not come to us. You are smoking. Suddenly, someone else who you knew was smoking, he died because of cancer. You will quit. Someone else lost a job. Someone else lost a parent. Someone else lost something. This is where panic begins with Saturn in the 12th house. You are not going to do everything with your own experience. You may experience periods where external circumstances force with inward teaching that, listen, man, I need to manage this inner discipline. I need to get back to action. I need to transform myself. Otherwise, this will happen with me. That fear is there. Because 12th house is also called the house of endings. Saturn is in the house of endings, so your time is ticking. Tick, tick, tuk, tuk, tick, tick, tuk, tuk. It is going on and on and on. Saturn says that at this point of time, working and not getting appreciation is not a punishment. You look at the bigger picture, by the way. You look at the bigger picture of salary. That if my salary is coming nicely, if everything is being managed very nicely, then I'm good with it. That's the nature of Saturn here. Saturn, see, it is looking with the third aspect on the house of your money, house of your accumulation of wealth. Your hard work in your life will be to accumulate enough security for you. And for that, what will you do? You will make sure Saturn is related to very long term systematic investments, regular investments. That's what Saturn tells you to do here. You will see that Saturn is a planet of isolation as well. Saturn is a cold planet. You will see that there will be always very cold, not cold like air condition is going on. Cold means very cold environment around you. You may always want to be very peaceful in the most isolated places in this lifetime. With Saturn, you will see that this kind of a placement generally becomes, because your ego is 100% zero, you have the power of forgiveness. And that is the biggest quality of Saturn in the 12th house. It can forgive people, it can forget things. Slowly later, whatever it is, you will see that you will get into a very powerful spiritual mastery. That means if this Saturn is present in your 12th house, then you need to start focusing on inner sadhana. You need to now evolving yourself and be one with the time. Don't consider you and time different. You will see that when I told everyone in every aspect of Saturn, if Saturn, wherever it is placed, it will bring some responsibility for you. And now this is a very hidden house. 12th house is also like 8th house, hidden house. It will bring you some responsibility which is very, very hidden as well. You will not be able to express it very, very openly that I have this kind of a responsibility. It can also be a second marriage. It can also be a child who is born with someone where you are responsible for them also and here also. Saturn here can also play with your sleep and subconscious mind. Saturn may give you the early, in early life, Saturn may give you the fear of things not happening on time. Later, you will experience things not happening on time. And later, you will realize that don't worry, things will not happen on time, but it will happen at the due time. So I'm not worried about it. So there are three phases of evolution of Saturn in everyone's life. That is why only three times the Sarasati can come in anyone's lifetime. Saturn will also help you with minimalism. These kind of people can also become miser. They will not be able to spend. They don't want to spend. They want to accumulate for safety. Because you have experience, you will experience the moment you will take debt in your life. Because Saturn is putting aspect on the seventh aspect on the sixth house. The moment you will take debt, it will be so hard and so lengthy for you to complete that debt that you will say, my God, no, let me accumulate and take it. I don't want the debt cycle coming in my life. This is the house of sacrifice, where you sacrifice for the greater good. Saturn has the power because it is like Saturn is the snake that can even eat its own kids. That's why Saturn is the powerful planet who can punish himself as well. That's why you have a very, very great, powerful, quality of sacrifice, of service, of, you know, karmic release. Karmic release means that, okay, you know what, someone created such bad environment for me, such bad things on me. You will karmically forgive them. That, okay, this God, okay, that they have done something wrong, no problem. I forgive them completely, karmically. I don't want any kind of hatred towards them. That's the greatness of Saturn in your 12th house. With this Saturn, unless and until you have a great structure, invisible structure in your life. Invisible structure means you don't tell people that I sleep at 9. You make sure that before 9 you are at home and you are sleeping. That is invisible structure. Visible structure is that, listen, man, see, oh my God, it's 9. I have to sleep, man. I have to sleep. Why can I go? I have to sleep. That is visible structure. We don't want visible structure. We want absolute invisible structure. Everything is in your mind, and your subconscious mind needs to be completely, fully overthinking every time, every moment, to overthinking to become more disciplined, to become much more responsible, to become much more, achieving much more wisdom in silence. You will see that this is not a placement where, it is a moksha house. If you even really only become very disciplined in life, you may be Saturn is so unpredictable, Saturn can even take you towards the door of moksha and says, okay, your patience was your test in this lifetime. You did it. Come on, go inside. This is moksha dwara for you. It's the place of moksha. You go, you become one light. It does not mean Ketu will only give moksha. That's a very wrong interpretation of Ketu. Ketu is moksha karaka. That means Ketu's pain tell us to detach from the world so that we can get moksha. With Saturn here, you will also see that Saturn is putting in very important the 10th aspect on your ninth house. That means your dharma and your moksha houses are connected with the eye of Saturn. And if this eye is on the house of dharma, the moment you will get unethical, Saturn will completely make bring that into personal expenses. And personal expenses does not mean money expenses. It means expenses or problems that will be created because of loss of your effort into something very unproductive. Number one. Secondly, it will temporarily give you whatever it is, but then it will take 3 times, 4 times more of the unethical thing that you have received in your life. And also, when it comes to Saturn and being the theme of the 12th house, Saturn will compromise on your longevity. They will say you do not deserve to live longer. I will not waste my air, my vayu on you. And it will take you into and it will make sure that you see everything unfulfilled in front of your eyes. That's why this is a place of the highest dharma of Saturn. You have to be absolutely ethical in whatever you do. Try to only forget about everything because of the third aspect of Saturn on the second house. Whatever you speak is directly being seen by Saturn. Saturn is sitting in front of your mouth like this. Whatever you're speaking, it is noticing, it is writing, okay, you spoke this wrong, too. You're saying lies, okay. And that much only suffering it will put in your lap. In this situation, with Saturn putting the aspect on the ninth house, you have to be overwhelmingly trapped into education, into wisdom gaining, into learning. Overwhelmingly, you have to say that no, 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 I want to learn more and more and more. Bring it on, more, more. Same way, even in the workplace, you may be working behind the scenes because this is the place of working for hospitals, foreign placements, research environment, charitable work, meditation, spiritual practices. These can become significant themes in your life. This is what the 12th house really means. But because of the aspect on the sixth house, which is the house of service, you have to unconditionally, without expectation, create environment for more service. Like, even if it is not required, put yourself into chaos and see the power Saturn really unleashes for you. You'll say, man, you understood the real pattern of my life. This is how you behave and this is how I give you. With this Saturn, you will also see that when it comes to old age, it may make you very isolated, very, very alone, very, very detached, very slow. And because 12th house also rules your feet, this is the placement where Saturn with age can give you bad arthritis in your legs, in your knees, in your ankle. That is why, generally, with Saturn in the 12th house, I suggest everyone to start doing massages of the feet with castor oil regularly. Start making sure that you are taking care a lot of your bones and your bone structure, joints especially. Otherwise, it can give you arthritis also, depending on your Mahadasha, Antardasha. And as soon as we reach 60, 61, 62, Saturn becomes very active in our chart, and Saturn takes control of all the things that we are supposed to do in life. So here, this is how Saturn is for you. Generally, you will see that the more and more discipline you will have, the more and more discipline related to all the 12th house items, that is sleep, spirituality, functionality, being secret, creating secret institute pillars around your life, create secret methods to work out everything. You are going to be good enough. Okay, do comment below. Let me know if your Saturn is in the 12th house, and do you feel this? This is advanced. It's not basic. Saturn will take you to foreign country, isolate you. Not this. This is bigger. This is much more advanced that we are talking about. So do comment below. Let me know, what do you think? Is it working? Not working? Do you think it is right? Not right? Comment everything down. And I've created a WhatsApp group also, so you can join the WhatsApp group and you can do a lot of research there as well. And if you want to talk to me for any reason, all the very best. You are welcome, man. All the best. I would see you in the next video. I think it is a very long video today. And all the best. Take care. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Hanuman, Jai Mata Di, Jai Mahalakshmi, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.